Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Pat Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Can. Kenny Can wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Red Small make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97. Home. That is the way to go. Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down the finish.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm not cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who can produce, pay the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They're getting slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a legal weapon, cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, August 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Speaking of Pub Sports Radio, we got a bunch of announcements. And I can also go over to the highlights section here and see how everybody got that cash tonight. Last night, Ron Crawford cashing with the Toronto Blue Jays. Morgan Spooner cashing with the Rangers and the Astros. Crystal Craig, another banger for Crystal Craig, heating up. Crystal Craig, Jake Berger over 1.5 bases. Daby Cab with a winning day. Gerald Jones, Justin McKelvey, Mikey Money cashing the Adley Rutschman RBI. Excellent work, fellas. Excellent work, fellas. We have a ton of announcements. I got hurt badly by MLB yesterday, and panic is setting in a bit. I'm giving myself 2 more days. The last 3 shows have gone very poorly. I'm giving myself today and tomorrow in MLB. If I'm not in the black over those 2 shows, I'm going to cut my MLB unit size in half, which is drastic, yes. But I can't mess with my NFL bankroll. And I have already. So that is my plan. So today is a big day. Tomorrow is a big day, or I'm cutting my unit size in half. We got a lot to talk about today. First off, our big poker tournament on Bet Online, Friday, August 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern, Friday, August 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk to you about all the cappers that we'll have live on our live poker stream hosted by Jose and myself. Those are all held at Bet Online. If you don't have an account on Bet Online, looking for a new account, if you go through our website and use our link and Pub Sports is your promo code, you'll get $1,000 bonus, or 100% bonus up to $1,000. But remember, if you are putting in money to Bet Online for the poker tournament and you get a bonus, you have to play through that bonus, or you can't transfer the money over to poker. So that's been something that's held some poker players back. So, and I don't have money in my account right now. So when I put money in, I'm not going to bother with a bonus. Just going to have it in for poker. So I'm not going to ask for a bonus when I put it in, and I'm going to shift it right over to poker. So that is Friday, August 23rd, Friday, August 30th. Now we have the winner. It's $25 to enter and a $25 buy-in once you get to rebuy, once you get to 0. And that's it. We're cutting it in half to hope to have bigger numbers. When we were at $50, the numbers dropped off. So we're going to try to do this at $25 for bigger numbers. And the winner each Friday gets into our cappers contest for free. Our cappers contest and our survivor pool open for sign up as we speak. The inaugural champion of the cappers contest, Peter Loshak, last year's champions, Guillermo Zertucci and Sharpie, tied atop the leaderboard. And the survivor pool, I was lucky enough to win it last year, and it paid out well. There's 36 of us in it, so $3,600. It paid nicely. So that's all up. That's all up. And Adam, also, we have a new show, a brand new show starting Saturdays for college football that we're very excited about. It is called The Tailgate, hosted by Daby Cab. Every Saturday now, it's at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we'll change that thumbnail. 10 a.m. Eastern is the time for that. So, Jose, if we got to remember to change that from 11 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. But yes, The Tailgate hosted by Daby Cab. And we're very, very, very excited about it. We have a huge show for us today. Yesterday was the last day of MLB only as we move forward. Today we have MLB, NFL, CFL, and WNBA. We have Jose Bouquet co-hosting all of the MLB programming. Daby Cab coming in with a best bet. And then we have NFL and CFL with me. 4-0 to start the year in NFL. I've cashed 11 of my last 16 in CFL. Now I needed it to get up towards the black. I'm down 0.72 units in CFL on the year. So I needed to go on this run. Daby Cab's best bet is in Giants Braves. Giants Braves. Messed up spot. I mean, I was thinking going in, of course, I'm going to be on Logan Webb. For the line to move towards the Braves, for the first 5 not to be any cheaper than the full game, confusing. So I've not moved on Logan Webb in that one. I have moved on 2 spots in MLB. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Justin McKelvey, Washington Mystics +8. Stacks play today number 1. Let's get that set up here. Mystics links. That's game 2 of our WNBA breakdowns. I've got that copied and pasted. Justin, my guy. Let's get that up there. And then number 2, Simeon, over 1.5 bases at +138. Simeon, and that is the get this Texas Rangers game going. That is one of my 2 bets. I'm on the Tigers. The line moved away from me after I bet it, but now it's back towards me. So I did okay there. And then I didn't get the first 5 under 4.5 in that Twins Rangers spot. I'm on the first 5 under 4 at +105. So I have 2 plus money spots for me. And True Teller says Simeon 5 for 9 with 2 homers versus Ober. That is a good spot. And it's going to be a great game. Neither team's hitting right now. Twins aren't hitting lefties. Rangers aren't hitting righties. Ober's pitching quite well. Bradford is pitching quite well as well. I'm looking forward to that game. Harris and Grossman both 5 for 8 versus Webb. Harris back in the lineup for the Braves. I don't know how good he's going to be, but he's back in the lineup for the Braves. Crystal Craig, play of the day. Crystal Craig heating up. Francisco Lindor over 1.5 bases for Crystal Craig. Let's get that set up for us here in game number 1. Love it, Crystal. Love seeing you heating up. Slow Jams Arsenal in the house. Gerald Jones, best bet, Boston, Baltimore over 8.5. And that same with Slow Jams Arsenal. They're both best bet plays today are on the over 8.5. I was shocked to see an 8.5 with Pavetta and Eflin, honestly. I was very surprised to see an 8.5, and that gave me cold feet. But initially, I was on the same I had the same take as you guys. If this was a 9 and was moving towards the over, I would be on it as well. Viper NB in the house. There is my dude, Viper NB on the New York Mets on the run line. These A's who've been hitting lefties certainly didn't hit Peterson yesterday. Will it be easier to hit Quintana? Is it easier when you see lefties in back-to-back days? Let's roll. Yesterday's MLB was just horrific. 2 pitchers not make it out of the first inning. And Tanner Gordon, the error and then not missing that double play by an inch. And next thing you know, he's at 48 pitches and is taken out in the first inning. I mean, that was horrific. Robbie Ray was absolutely horrific. It was rough. I cashed that Marlins first 3 at +125. The first 5, I'm up 5-2 going to the 5th. I guess it was actually the bottom of the 4th that the grand slam was hit for the Phillies to take that 6-5 lead. Very, very, very disturbing stuff. But Slow Jams Arsenal says, talk about low-hanging fruit. My dude went 4-1. It was Ohtani. That Brewers, and shout out to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, who was on the Brewers with the Gambler's First Glance. Did you see Williams shut down Ohtani, Betts, Freddie Freeman there in the 9th inning? I mean, that back end of that bullpen looked very good. I know Curry got touched for a run, but he looked great. The Brewers bullpen looks very, very strong right now. Joey Marinaccio, the Dapper Capper, says bad read on Robbie Ray last night. I mean, there was a point in that game when it was 5-1 for the Braves, and the Giants were out hitting the Braves 6-2. It was horrific. New Quicker says Stampeder is a -3, locked and loaded. Says revenge game, payback is a bitch. Nuki, a lot of people on these stamps. I can't wait to talk about that game. I read one article from SBR, where the only article where somebody was on the Red Blacks, and the guy writing the article didn't even know who was at quarterback for the Red Blacks. He was talking about how Dustin Crum was going to take over, not knowing that it was Masoli. And the article was written yesterday. So that was the only person that doesn't put a lot of confidence in the Red Blacks. The one article on the Red Blacks doesn't even know who's at quarterback for the Red Blacks. There's a lot of mistakes when you read articles, man. I tell you this, when you're reading articles from these gambling sites, you want to be on the other side of them, and you want to have the conviction to be on the other side of them. You should be concerned if you're on the same side of them. In football, WNBA, the mistakes that were all over these articles was unbelievable. But I've got that for you here. I can't wait to talk about that football game. We're running pretty nice in CFL. Play today for Morgan Spooner. Seattle Mariners moneyline minus 135. LA Dodgers moneyline minus 135. New York Mets -1, -140 for Morgan. We get that right here under or above the MLB heading. Let's get that locked and loaded for you. Serious business, wine time, sports in the house. Wine time. Final day of the honeymoon, I believe. Final day for wine time. What a trip you've been on. C. James, nice to see you, C. James. Been too long, man. I love to see it. Razor sharp picks. Gambler's first glance winner with the Brewers. It was beautiful yesterday. Beautiful. Chill Will ready to go. Kelly McInnes. Oh no. Oh man. Says morning, Jimmy. Mom passed yesterday. She had dementia. I hadn't spoken to her in over 10 years, and she can finally rest. I'm okay. Happy she no longer has to live like that anymore. Yeah, Kelly, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And even when you know something's coming, it still is jarring when it happens. This is your mom. Someone meant so much to you, but dementia is so difficult to watch a loved one go through, and so I can understand that you want to imagine her as she was, not how she was in that last 10 years. Regardless, it's jarring and tough to deal with, even if you know it's coming. So thinking of you, Kelly, and your mom and your family, and thankful to cap with you, man. You bring a lot of fun to the show and a lot of fun to capping, and thinking of you today. Sorry that you have to go through that, but I can truly understand a sort of a sense of relief for your mom. Now she doesn't have to go through that anymore. So thinking of you, Kelly, my friend. Robert Franklin ready to go. Jake Flanagan in the house. NJ Striker. Robert Franklin, White Sox first 5 money line last night. That was a thing of beauty. Ken Mizrahi, Juan Soto on a fire. Slatsy says 50 days to the first NHL game. Oh, God. You know, this is not the first summer that baseball's ruined for me. But I am craving football and hockey and basketball enormously. Now, we do have WNBA basketball here. Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. And Nunya ready to get to work. Great to see all of you guys. Polo this, Polo that. Red Girl, Michael Johnson, Jermaine Connolly. Jermaine, look, you were right. The start of the day yesterday was bad. You were right with the Padres. Pittsburgh playing bad. You were right. I don't have anything to say about that, other than you were right and I was wrong, Jermaine. Mexican Elvis ain't nothing but a hound dog play of the day. Special hot ticket on the Mets -1.5. A lot of love for these New York Mets. Morgan Spooner on the -1. We have Mexican Elvis on the -1. And I have Juan Ruiz in the house. Nice to see you. That's Monica. Eagles, Twins, and under 8.5 in Twins KC. I like that. Let's get that. Nice work, Monica. But the Eagles, that was they played tonight. You can't count that as W yet. Bookie Buster play today from DC. Capper is the Minnesota Twins. Rangers falling apart at the seams. That's our last MLB game of the day. Stacks is on Simeon over 1.5 bases in that. And Bookie Buster is the Twins and Bailey Ober. Slow Down Sarsno says, my godmother Helen Keller is fired. Yes, that was awful. My dude says Rooker for A's on paternity leave. There's occupancy in the house. Great to see you. Raymond Reichart ready to go. Robert Franklin hit White Sox first 5 money line. Schwarber grand slam messed up the Marlins first 5 money line. Yes. Thank God I got that first 3. Oh God, I can't even imagine. Troy Torrance says it's obvious to me A's are due for massive regression. Massive regression there. Philly, Eagle, Flyer, parlayed Phillies run line and Eagles under. Tied after second inning here. Parlayed Phillies run line and Eagles under. And tied after second inning on Giants and the Rangers game for Philly, Eagle, Flyer. Let's copy and paste that here. Get that all copied and pasted here right above MLB, right under ain't nothing but a groundhog play of the day. All right. And Nunya, also hate to hear that. Hate to hear that losing your uncle. So sorry that, man, it's just it's tough. It's tough. Life can be very difficult. It can be unrelenting. I'm so thankful that I can come here with you guys, find the light. So sorry to hear that you're going through that, Nunya. Says he was a hell of a deer and bear hunter. Man. Yeah, sorry to hear about your uncle, man. That is very, very tough. Very tough. So, man. Okay. And then we have our guy, Ron Crawford, in the house. We talked about what Ron is going through right now. Spreadsheet play of the day is Boston plus 132. He's sending us that from the hospital. He's sitting beside his daughter, Molly, in the hospital right now. Our thoughts and prayers go to Molly and to you and your family, Ron. I know you and Wendy are there at the hospital. Still wanting us to know the spreadsheet dog, which is the Boston Red Sox. And, you know, you're a class act, Ron. You lead your family by example. And we love you, man. We love you. Yeah, it's, you know, life can be tough. And it also is nerve-wracking when you don't hear from people. You know, I know we raised money for Torrey Coker, who's going through such tough things, but you get scared when you don't hear from them. You know, I haven't heard from Nutflush Allen. I called him last night. A mailbox is full. It makes me nervous. You know, that's what you know. We heard Von Polo was down, and I heard from him a couple of days. It's tough. Life's tough out there, and again, I'm just thankful that we have this opportunity to be here together, to work with each other, and to find the light through the darkness. Because sometimes it's difficult to find the light. Sometimes we need to lean on each other to find the light. And that's, you know, when it all comes down to it, there might not be anything more important than leading your friends and family through the tough times and the darkness with as much positivity as you can, even if you're faking it. So those of you dealing with, you know, hurt and pain right now, we're thinking of you. And this is what we do. We cap together. And that's another part of me not succeeding in MLB that cuts at me. You know, it's been a rough week, and you know, some of the like those losses that I took yesterday were just horrific. I mean, they weren't just like average losses. They were horrific. And coming into football season, needing your bankroll to be right, needing again for us all to lead the family. It's a pressure that I'm not handling very well, and that's okay. I'm going to give myself today and tomorrow in MLB. If I'm not in the black over these 2 days, then I'm going to cut my MLB unit size in half. There'll still be a reason to succeed, but it'll just take a little bit of the pressure off, and we can focus, you know, our cash on sports that we're succeeding in. There you go. Big show picks in the house. Lil Domo, Al Cervic, Joey Harb, the truth teller, Goran Ninkowski. We have gifted cartels action. Daniel Hernandez, Danny Dog play of the day is on the Oakland A's money line. Daniel, you know, you really need to, we can do this quickly here because you're not as deep as like Justin is. If you're going to be moving on dogs the simple win-loss record is not suffice. It's not enough. We need to see what you are at with units, because you're always going to be on a dog line that the win-loss record will not properly indicate the success of your play. So if you could track it and give us the units, because you're 1-1 on the Danny Dog play today, but you're in the black. Somebody might not know that by just seeing your win-loss record. But Daniel Hernandez going up against those who are bullish on the New York Mets. We also are playing in his first Survivor pool on DK this year. I hope you're in our Survivor pool as well. BJ, best bet, San Francisco Giants money line and Texas Rangers money line. That makes me think that that really makes me think that there must have been a move towards the Giants that that must have happened in the most recent of times, because I know that you like to see the market and where the market reacts. So let's get that here. Nate Dog 420 in the house. And there you see 36-25 on the play of the dog from Ron Crawford is spectacular. But then you see that it's also up 21.55 units. Rem Most in the house. Rem, I asked about it yesterday. Nordy says, can't wait for the poker tourneys. Yeah, Friday night. It's going to be fun. Steve DeVig is on Harris and Simeon both to get a hit in a parlay. Rem Most, it's nice to see you back in business. Stimmy OG in the house. Stimmy OG, we've missed you. I've missed you very much. I like to see this. Air Dog says he's been a rough patch as well the last 2 weeks. Gunner and Orioles were printing money for him before the All-Star break. Yeah, it's not being easy. Yeah, Al-Cervic, we need you in ours. We need you in ours. But I will also cheer for you in DraftKings. Okay. And Luke Murphy says, is there anything better than breaking down games as a family? Gordon Costley says going to the plate. Jimmy, last year, you have to make reservations to go into the plate. The King's Plate's what Gordon Costley's talking about, which was the Queen's Plate. Queen died. Now it's King's Plate up here. It's on Saturday. But I can get my family in. It's tricky. They say you're not allowed in. And then I say, okay, we're not going in. And then, we kind of go around the corner and I go in and it's fine. But it's not comfortable. It's never comfortable sneaking your family into any kind of situation. And I can't get there early because my kids can only make it through like 5 races or so, 6 races before they get. So I don't know. I'm certainly going to bet it, Goran, but this might be the first year that I've been here that we don't go to the King's Plate. This might be the first year. Also, Sunday is a big birthday party here for my daughter turning 7 years old. Skunt Blaster in the house. And look at that. That's what we needed before we get rolling here. Ron Crawford says, thank you all. Molly's kidneys are slowly getting back to normal. Hopefully discharged by the weekend. That's what we needed to hear. That's what I needed to hear. Oh, I love that. That's just so, that's so wonderful to hear that, Ron. All right, well, let's let those words from our guy, Ron, lead us into today's action. I have to turn the page on what's happened in these last 3 shows. Friday, Tuesday, and Wednesday have just hurt badly. And just move on with some positivity and some hope here. So let's go. And Damon says, can't believe our little ones are almost 4, bro. Yeah, Damon. Yeah. Well, Carter's not 4 till February, but yeah, man, it's been fun watching our kids grow up, man. And shout out to you, Damon. Great to see you in the chat. Okay, let's roll here. Goran saying with ground passes for the plate, you don't even need ground passes. You just walk around the side. When you walk in, walk around all the way around the right side. You don't need anything, but it's, when they tell you you're not allowed in and you still go in, it's an interesting conversation to have with the children. Okay. Let's roll, Ron. That is absolutely wonderful, wonderful news. Let's get to work here. We start with Major League Baseball. Let's bring on the star of MLB programming. Not being a good week for us. Now, he was in a much better position to handle a bad week, but Good God, we need a day today. Please welcome from San Antonio, Texas, home of the Southtown 101. If you're ever in San Antonio, that's the bar to be at. We have a studio in there. Then we have a back room full of TVs, incredible food. Home of the Southtown 101, San Antonio, Texas. Please welcome Jose Bouquet to the show. Jose, how are you, my friend?
Nonplussed, obviously. Got fucking crushed yesterday. It sucked. Fucking betting dogs. I hate it. And I'm pissed off. And hopefully today's going to be a good day. We both need it, obviously. So let's get after it.
Got a lot of love for the New York Mets here. Mexican Elvis on the New York Mets -1.5. We have Morgan Spooner on the New York Mets -1. We have Francisco Lindor over 1.5 bases for Crystal Craig. Viper MB on the New York Mets -1.5. And it's Daniel Hernandez who is standing in the way of all of this. Oakland Athletics 51-70, 22-40 on the road at New York Mets 62-58, 31-30 at home. Justin McKelvey on the Athletics first 5 money line. Robert Franklin on the other side with the Mets run line here. So let me copy and paste Justin and Robert's action. So I need a day, Jose. Probably feel like more than I've ever needed one in my entire career. That's what it feels like here. But already just getting started, starting to get that kind of fucking sick feeling that I've been stuck with for a little while. You know, it's not staring at the roof or ceiling or whatever that used to happen to me. It's not that this year. It's I feel fucking sick. That's what it feels like inside. Like it's not. This is not being fun. And with the bankroll here before football season in shambles, I'm quite uncomfortable. Professor Chris is on the A's money line. Says A's should be +124, so he bet it at +160. Jerry Davis says Oakland last 3 versus left-handed pitching, 64 weighted runs created, and Quintana pitches well at home. Again, it all depends on how many days back are you looking at Oakland A's versus lefties? Because they sure hurt us with Peterson yesterday. But I still have the stats from July 15th, as that was just 1 month ago. The A's are hitting .251 with an .816 OPS in those days. That's Monica says A's first 5 looks enticing. And Ron Crawford says Mets spreadsheet is a spot for him. Although, if you see what he's doing with dogs, you can tell why he's focusing on all of that. Goran and Kofsky, we're talking about CFL right after NFL. I can't wait to talk about all this love for Trevor Harris that I can't comprehend whatsoever. Jerry Davis says last 14 days is what I use. Recency matters more to me. That's fair. Sample size matters more for me, unless you can talk about exactly the pitchers that they faced in the last 14 days. Then I will care more about the last 14 days. But in general, I want more sample size. Strategic Investment says Oakland Athletics 22-40, 35.5% on the road. They've won 3 of their last 4, but that success should not be expected to continue. The Mets have won 5 of the previous 6 head-to-head matchups and are the far superior team despite struggles with consistency this season. The 9-1 win last night is just what New York needed to regain some momentum. Professor Chris says as a season weighted run created versus lefties is a robust 111. And Gordon Kofsky says it's more no Philpott. The Owls have weapons, and we can't talk about the Rough Riders Owls. We're not going to talk about it on today's show as it pops off tomorrow, but I can't wait to talk about it with you, Goran. But let's get to work here. We are Citi Field in Queens, New York. Let's touch on the weather to get us started. 85 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour left to right and slightly in, gets down to 6.3 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history for this spot. I got too much open. Here we go. Sorry, I've still got the Eagles Patriots spot up as I've been staring at those line movements for days. Here we go. This is Pinnacle. Jose will discuss bet online line movements. I will discuss the Pinnacle ones. Mets open up -170. Now they're -175. 5 cents of movement towards them. From a total perspective, this is at 8.5, -114 to the under. A lot of books have moved it to 8. Pinnacle has not. This opened up over 8.5 minus 119 to the over. So there's been 20 cents of movement towards the under. I just watched Spence look. I didn't watch it in person. I watched the game. Look very good in his last start. 3-1 loss at the Blue Jays, but I had first 5 minus a half on the Jays, and that did not come through. You have 10% of the tickets and 39% of the cash on the Oakland A's. So 90% of the tickets on the Mets, only a 5-cent move. 93% of tickets and 86% cash on the over. And then you wonder if you get to see lefties in back-to-back situations, are you a little more in tune and ready to hit them? Troy Torrance has Mets minus 1.5 at plus 110, looking for money line parlay options. And Bittersweet Negroni, Big Negroni play today. New York Mets first 5 money line and full game money line. Strategic investments play of the day is the Mets money line and Truth Teller on the Mets as well. A ton of love here, Jose, for these New York Mets. Let me get these copied and pasted here. Just 7 games on the MLB schedule, so we have time to really deep dive into them. Mitch Spence, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, and that 3-1 loss to the Jays. On the road, he was struggling until that last start. 4.96 ERA, 256 opponents batting average. Jose Quintana coming off a line 5 earned runs and a 6-0 loss at the Mariners. At home, he's been quite good this year. 3-4, 3.38 ERA with a 221 opponents batting average. And both bullpens have been very good since July 15th. Take it away for us here, Jose. Joseph Thompson in the house says, wow, none of the overs appeal to him today. Well, that's a pretty good sign for me who likes unders, that nothing appeals to him. By the way, Joseph Thompson will be live on camera with us for our poker tournaments this next Friday in 8 days and the one after. And if any of you guys would like to make your Pub Sports Radio debut on our poker tournaments, it's a great way for us to see your shot and, to hear your audio and stuff like that, to see if you're just ready to be plugged in to help cap these games with us, non-poker related activities. And the Gambler's First Glance is the under 8 in the game I'm on the first 5 under on.
That's nice.
That makes me feel good. And the video is up as well. Dope. I like that. But Jose, take it away for us here. A's Mets.
Good vibes are building. I'm not on this game. I don't want to bet this game. It's Mets for me as well. I just think Mitch Spence has been a little dangerous. His 2 earned runs at last 3 or 4 starts. So I stayed off. Quintana had a rough start at last time as well, but I don't know. The A's, they really got me yesterday with the Peterson shit. So I agree with you. It should be easier back-to-back days against lefties, but Quintana's good, so I stayed off. Justin, you don't need to be good at poker, Justin. Come on. Join the fun, Justin. I'm playing poker. It's a lot of fun. I'm not particularly good. However, I can say I'm exponentially better than when I first started doing these live streams. So come on, it'll be a lot of fun, Justin.
I have not delivered in our poker tournaments. Coming off splitting the top prize with another gambler on Sunday. I need to deliver. I need to
real life poker. You dominate because your pussy gets polluted and then you're locked in.
Yeah, I can't explain why I've struggled on our live streams, and I hope it comes to an end.
Sometimes your pussy does get too polluted, and you go on soliloquies, apparently.
That is true. That is true. The Locker Room podcast that we have for UFC, they have a plant your flag, a fighter that you're planting your flag with. And I can't plant my flag for either side here. I can understand people. I can understand that I have a vividness bias from watching Mitch Spence in his last start. I watched it. He looked great. And I've always liked him at home and want to back him at home. So, and look at Joe Thompson catching 2 of the 3 poker tournaments and won one of them. Nice job. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be fun.
Watch out. Joe Thompson and Dex on the same table. Sheesh.
Yeah, and Peter's been successful. I'm looking forward to it. And we're cutting it down. Remember, we're cutting it down to $25 with a $25 rebuy once we hit 0. So hopefully we'll get more people involved. If we get more people involved, we'll have more poker tournaments. But look, I see so many cappers in the chat hammering away at this one. I'm hammering away at the other game. So this is a no move for me. Good luck for you all who are making moves on A's Mets. Jose and I are off this one. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. Jose, 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 63 and 58, 26 and 32 on the road. Detroit Tigers 58 and 63, 28 and 31 at home. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. I am moving on Detroit. Now, Bryce Miller has not shown the ability to pitch on the road. I don't understand why he has struggled in this role. A lot of people will say, look, I don't think the Mariners are going to get swept out of town here and things of that nature. But this was something that I wanted to move on. And when I did move, Jose, it was plus 125 at Pinnacle. It was plus 120 at 365. After I bet it, it moved to plus 125 at 365. And I just bet it this morning. When I came back, it was plus 115. And that's where it is right now. So I like seeing that quite a bit. Faedo was a pitcher we had high hopes for being a key starter for the Detroit Tigers. This is a bullpen day for the Tigers. Morgan Spooner said Matt Vierling, Detroit's best bat versus right-handed pitching this year, is out of the lineup. I just felt like this all seemed to set up for people to expect the Mariners to deliver here and the public to be on the Mariners and the line not moving towards them. 70% of the tickets are on the Seattle Mariners and 50% of the cash. That's down from when I bet it. 70 and 50. 91 and 89 on the over. And this line opened up with the Mariners at minus 143 and then now minus 125. There's even been a 10-cent move since I bet it for that plus 125. This is one of the rare times that I got it at the high watermark. It was only at 125 for a little bit. This line didn't come out till 8:15 this morning. So I'm on these Detroit Tigers and this bullpen. Jake Burns says Mariners are just so bad they flat out suck. I do not know what the Mariners are going to do here, but I know that both bullpens have been used pretty heavy in the series, and I trust the Tigers bullpen enormously more than I do with the Mariners bullpen. Jose, let me give you the weather here at Comerica. 7.5 miles per hour in, gets up to 9.3. First pitch, 81 Fahrenheit. And this is one of two spots that I'm on. Tigers at plus 125. Take it away.
Yeah, the thing that really sent me into a tizzy yesterday was Seattle blowing their lead. It really, really pissed me off. Like, I knew I was already having a tough day. When that domino fell, I was like, oh boy. I knew that it was going to be bad. And then the cherry on top of the shit Sunday was Robbie Ray, obviously. So that was really pissing me off as well. But yeah, I think this is a Detroit spot. Line movement to Detroit. Maybe I'm better about the Mariners, but this team they're not it. They can't hit. Their pitching can only take them so far, and it's not far enough. I'm just so out on this Mariners team. You can go out there. Your Brian Woos can go out there, throw 6 shutout innings. Bryce Miller can go out there and throw 7 shutout innings, and Johnny Slapdick and fucking Paul Sewald Jr. is going to go out there and blow this fucking game for the Mariners. So Detroit Tigers, first 5, full game for me. Small card, so I feel good about doubling up. Plus 118, full game, first 5, plus 115. And happy birthday, Saturated.
Happy birthday to our guy, Saturated. What a fun capper he is to roll with. Wow.
A poker shark as well.
Yes, he is. I hope he rocks with us. Absolutely hope he rocks with us. Nate Dogg 420 on the Detroit money line. We need to give a birthday pick.
It might be this one.
Us for Saturated. Look, is it possible that the Mariners are a sinking ship? We know that at home they have the type of pitching staff that can, keep them afloat. On the road, do we think that? I don't think so. So, yeah. Look, I like that you're doubling up. Again, I've got 48 hours before I cut my MLB in half. So,
well, we have 48 hours to go positive here, and we're back. That's what's happening here.
I'm on the Tigers at plus 125. Jose on the Tigers first 5 and full game. Nate Dogg says Faedo over K's. Faedo's not going to pitch more than an inning, Nate Dogg. So, I mean, we expect him. And he's only pitching an inning at a time. And when he starts, he only pitches an inning. So I don't know what line or if they'll even give you
over a half. What are you going to get, Nate Dogg? There's no way you're going to get a line on that.
I don't think so.
By the way, Detroit has listed.
Yeah, over 1.5. Over
hilarious.
1.5 strikeouts minus 155.
I would take the under on that. That's hilarious. Kento Maeda primary, by the way.
Yeah, that's
it's scary. But
they've been on the last time we had him as a primary, they're cutting down the innings that he pitches, but obviously that is concerning. But does our Mariners offense scare you? That is the question. All right, Jose doubling up on the Tigers. I'm just the Tigers full game. Let's move on to 2:10 p.m. Eastern. I gave that first 5 over as the best bet on the card. It was 3-3 after 2 innings, and I still pushed the full game at 9. The air by Mookie Betts, I knew that was going to cause the push. I was hoping that it would go into extras at 4-4. That did not happen. Maybe it was just going to push regardless. Jack Flaherty screwed me in his last start. Now, they won 9-5 at home, but I expected him to pitch better. And it really wasn't him that screwed me. It was Mitch Keller. We're in American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Brewers are just a professional outlet, and that bullpen was dynamite. Even when Keurig allowed that one run, he still looked awesome. They're very, very, very good.
Yeah, I wish that they had the hitters. The Brewers are semi-Mariners to me. They just don't have hitters either.
Well, the Dodgers are the Yankees to me. If you get through that top 3, there's nobody that, like, when Kiermaier hit that double, I was astonished. Now Kiermaier then threw out. I pushed this full game over 9. 3 runs were scored in the top of the first, and then there was loaded bases with no out for Milwaukee against Walker Buehler. They got the sack fly and doubled them up at home. Kiermaier with the perfect throw, and no runs were scored. And then 3 runs scored in the second inning. But still, I can't. I'm astonished that I couldn't deliver here. Jerry Davis says, to your point, Kai Bush, Barrios, Uriel Rodriguez, and of course Peterson yesterday were the left-handers. Oakland is struggling.
Well, I think, unfortunately, Jerry Barrios, a righty. Believe Uriel also a righty.
A righty, yes. I believe Uriel is a righty. The Cuban's a righty, and Barrios definitely a righty. So it's okay. We can keep hammering that one. Okay, Brahmavi says maybe the Brewers are in play again today. Flaherty's been great on the road all year long. 6-2, 2.35 ERA, 85 strikeouts in 69 innings, 197 opponents batting average. Tobias Myers has looked excellent. That last start at home over the Reds, 7 1/3, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts. Also, is there a possibility that one of the big 3 is not in the lineup today? Let's see if we've got the lineups.
Confirmed lineups. They don't have confirmed lineups for the Dodgers yet. I just refreshed. Never mind. Ohtani, Teoscar, Freeman, Will Smith, Gavin Lux. No Mookie.
No Mookie. Right?
So yeah, no Mookie.
No Mookie Betts, Robert Franklin. That error did bother him very much. Your grandma is wearing your sister's panties again. Play today is in with Milwaukee and the under 8. What is that? What is that? What does that come out to that together, Mikey? Your grandma wearing your sister's panties again. Play of the day is in the Brewers and the under 8. Which obviously makes this under more appealing. Makes it more appealing here with Flaherty versus Myers. Morgan Spooner says Tobias Myers is a 575 OPS versus righties and a 750 versus lefties. If you're going to get to him, you need some good lefties. Don't worry, plus 265 was that one. Plus 265 for Mikey. So both teams are hitting righties decently. Dodgers 241, 758. Brewers 252, 761. Dodgers bullpen 4.34 ERA, 1.32 WHIP. The Brewers have a much better bullpen at this point. And Troy says Myers' expected numbers suggest regression is coming. He only had 1 start since June against team above 500. He's in his worst split at home during the day. So let's get this up here with the line history. It's supposed to rain, so the roof will be closed. We have the Brewers at plus 110. They opened up at plus 125, now plus 111. So 14 cents of movement towards them. And then on the total, we have this, and a lot of that probably has to do with Mookie not being in the lineup. This total opened up at 8, dropped to 7.5, back to 8, and I guess it just moved to 7.5 with the lineup being delivered. Take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have 76% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the Dodgers, 95 and 94 on the over. Jose Bouquet, take it away.
I am off this game. I honestly think Troy is right in the Dodgers spot. They've seen the bullpen again, so we'll see how it goes a second time through. And by the way, Devin Williams, free agent after this year, I believe. Just pay that man so much money. He's the best closer in baseball. He's going to be amazing.
Did you see what he did to those three?
Yeah,
they weren't even close. Like they were just. And Mookie, one time you just saw it in his eyes. He was like, Mookie had a better at bat than Ohtani. But
that's the changeup, the airbender. That guy started out pitching Ninja's career with the airbender. So shout out to him. But the issue will always remain that the Dodgers, or I guess you have to get there to have a lead there in the ninth with Williams, because the Dodgers line up against Tobias Myers without Mookie still. I think Tobias Myers, like Troy says, is vulnerable here in the second half of the season. We'll see, but I'm off. I kind of expect some, I don't know if I want to call it regression from Flaherty, but I'm watching Flaherty closely because I don't expect him to just be a Dr. Lights Out pitcher, just looking again, as you guys know, I might be getting annoying with this stuff, but innings pitch always matters to me. He's at 118, 144 last year, split between starting and relieving. Again, I think that's a big difference there. I know it's 144 innings, but went from the bullpen, started a bunch last year, and then bullpen with the Orioles a bunch. So 20 starts. We'll see how that all operates. It's just scary to bet against the Dodgers, and it's not. I just don't think this is the spot here. Unfortunately, it took some chicanery for them to lose yesterday, and some Devin Williams magic as well. So I'm off. I lean Dodgers, honestly.
We have my dude on Flaherty over 4.5 hits at minus 165. Troy Torrance on Dodgers first 5 minus 125. So you are also a believer in this regression from Tobias Myers.
Yeah. This is his first season starting, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
In the majors. I'm pulling them up right now. Yeah, this is his first year in the majors. 93 and 2/3 innings pitched this year. His most in his career was in 2018. Actually, in 2023 through 137 in Double-A. But and you can hear most people say this often, major league inning and minor league innings are not built the same. So 100 major league innings and 137 minor league innings. I think the major league innings were definitely going to weigh a little more. And he's been great. 0-1-1 earned runs in his last 3 appearances. I just have my doubts if that's going to be continuing here for the next, I just say I'd rather fade Tobias Myers than back him for the rest of the season.
I am not concerned with his lineup.
I leaned over in this game. I just don't like betting overs, as you know.
All right. Okay. That because I kind of lean. I don't see why Flaherty and Myers would have too much trouble here. Flaherty in his first home start. Is that why, Chavez Ravine, right, for the first time? He's been great on the road all year. I don't know why that wouldn't just continue.
And I'll tell you, my guard is up here, minus 135 opener. It even got up to minus 150 at one point on Bet Online. and it's all the way down to minus 122. Troy Torrance's sharp trap, definitely in play here, I'm sure, from him. So that is why I stay off. I mean, he said the Dodgers, you think he's bet the Dodgers in every game in the series because of the sharp trap. And, I think they've won 2 out of 3 of them, going for 3 or 4 today. So we'll see.
Yeah, I lean to the first 5 under, but I don't know if I'll get there. Troy Torrance says Flaherty and starts following one in which he allowed 4+ runs, a 0.78 WHIP and 1.89 ERA.
And see, it's interesting. Troy didn't move on him yesterday because of the higher total. Was it 7.5? Or was it 8? Troy, what was it again?
Yesterday was 9.
It was 9?
Yeah, 5. First 5 was 5, and the full game was 9.
Okay. I forgot already. So, all right, interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
I lean to the first 5 under. Let's just see what the line movement has been on that first 5, because I'm a little surprised with it going down to 7.5 that we're still just dealing with a 4 with regular VIG. This opened up at 4 minus 121 to the over. Now it's at 4 minus 109 to the over. So there's been 10 cents of movement to this first 5 under. I don't see why Tobias Myers won't have another good start. I mean, maybe not as dominant as what he just had, but he's just been better and better and better. Remember, if you go through his game log, which I haven't done in a while, remember it was that first start of the year he got absolutely lit up. And since then, he's been incredibly good.
While you look that up, by the way, shout out to Sharon Pulliam, who's also has a birthday today as well. Shout out to you and Saturated.
Saturated and Sharon. We better have good birthday picks for these guys. Saturated. Let me make sure I have this here. And Sharon. Birthday.
So Tobias Myers, 5 innings, 1 earned run to start, and then he gave up 4 earned runs, back-to-back starts in 5 innings and 3 innings. He's been honestly pretty good since then. The most runs he's given up in a start, 5 earned runs against the White Sox of all people, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he gave up 4 earned runs in Colorado. Since then, he's had 5 starts and he's given up 4 runs.
Yeah, I just don't think that he'll keep it up.
95% of tickets, 94% of cash on the over.
The line moving down to the Brewers was interesting.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw, but I'm interested in this first 5 under 4 in this one. Again, it starts in 2 hours. In 10 minutes, we should be fine for time. Let's move on to our next game and bring on our first guest coming off another winning day. He's climbing out and climbing towards the black, and we need him to get there. Aubrey Travis, I don't really care that much about the side, in all honesty. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring, tight game. So it's just that first 5 under that I'm leaning towards here. But let's bring on your next guest coming to us from Dallas, Texas. And we have a best bet here. He's not the only one with a best bet here. BJ's best bet is on the San Francisco Giants. And I had expected to be on Logan Webb. Watching that changeup in the last 3 starts, he's been spectacular. Please welcome the star of Medicate Mondays and the star of our new Saturday morning show, The Tailgate, at 10 a.m. Eastern. Please welcome Daby Cab to the show. Daby, how are you, my man?
Oh, I'm good, Jimmy. I'm good. I'll tell you what, man. I don't like being necessarily on the other side of somebody who's been so hot, but everybody better grab their nutsack because I'm going to fade Logan Webb today. And I know everybody and their mom's on him. So anywhere you look, everybody's all about it. So we'll get into it, but I'm fading him today.
Yeah, I was surprised how few people were on it, honestly. I thought there'd be more than 58% of the tickets on the San Francisco Giants here with Logan Webb. I was more intrigued at the expectation that Max Fried would have a good start. Now he's coming from the thin air of Colorado, but it's interesting that, to see this not being any cheaper for Logan Webb first 5, a lot of it did not make sense to me. So let's get to work here. Atlanta Braves 64-56, 32-30 on the road, stepping up right now when it looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs. They're still in a danger zone. Giants 61-62, 35-27 at home at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. 62 Fahrenheit, 7.7 miles per hour out to left field. It gets up to 11.5 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this one. I got the first 5 up. It is a 3.5. This moved to 4 around 11 last night. It was not a legit 4. There's been no movement on this total at 3.5. Let's get to the full game here. From a full game perspective, we have a 7. It's minus 115 to the over. It opened up at 7, right around when the 3.5 went to 4 at 11:30 last night. It went from 7 to 7.5, but it stayed there for a while. It was 7.5 from 11:30 at night until about 4:45 in the morning, and now it's back at 7. So there's been no movement at all on the total. And then on the money line, in the past I've had a good feeling with Logan Webb. I've had a sense of when he was going to succeed. That's gone away. This opened up at minus 103. Last night at midnight, I couldn't understand why it hadn't moved towards the Giants. So that was the first red flag. Then, of course, at 12:30, right when I stopped paying attention to it, it moved to minus 109. And it kept moving towards the Giants until they were minus 118 at 6 in the morning. Then they come down to minus 114. That's still 11 cents of movement towards the Giants. What I didn't understand was why was the first 5, no cheap or more expensive. That didn't make sense to me, especially when the Giants bullpen was abused because of Robbie Ray only getting 2. Did he get 2 out? Did he even get 2 out or just 1 out? I think he just got 1 out. So here the Giants are now minus 125 at Bet365, and they're minus 120 on the first 5. The last 2 times I've been in that situation where the full game was more expensive than the first 5, the first 5 lost for the team where it should have been more expensive first 5. So Max Fried coming off back-to-back poor starts, but the last one was in Colorado. He's been fine on the road all year, 5-3, 3.09 ERA, 191 opponent's batting average. Logan Webb's coming off 3 straight spectacular starts. His last at home, he's got a 2.49 ERA. He's only allowed 3 home runs in 76 innings. The Braves are hitting 239, 751 versus righties. The Giants are hitting 258, 787 versus lefties. I had planned all along to be on the Giants, and I'm not on them. Braves bullpen has been struggling. 4.60 ERA, 1.46 whip. Giants bullpen's been okay, but were they ever abused yesterday? Take it away, Daby Cab. Best bet. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I get it. I can echo some more. Excuse me. I can echo some more of the Logan Webb stats. Let's just look at, I guess, his last 3 starts: 13 hits and 21 2/3 innings, 18 strikeouts and 5 walks. I mean, those are immaculate numbers right there. Just absolutely outstanding. And I get it. Everybody's talking about, he's coming back into form. And I see it. You talked about the changeup. It's a beautiful pitch that he throws. And I get it. But I just want to talk real quick about, before August, in July, there were a few games there, you saw against Toronto. I guess if you want to take it into account, the All-Star game where he still gave up 3 runs, and then against Colorado, and then against the Dodgers, where he was, he got hit a little bit, right? And since then, he's been, back into form. We're talking about Oakland, Washington, and Detroit. Those are the 3 teams that he's thrown against. And I know Oakland's been hitting a little bit better. So you can say that. And he went 9 innings against them. But those aren't, even with the Braves' struggles at the plate, those aren't the Braves. It's just a different ballgame. It's a different team. It's a different ballgame. It doesn't work the same. Harris coming back in the lineup for the Braves also. They're hot right now. Don't look. This team is hot, right? And I think they're going to stay that way. I got the Braves team total over 3.5. It's plus 101. Just for me today, it makes sense. Give me 2 or 3 off Webb. Give me 2 or 3 out of the bullpen, and we'll call it a day.
What was the juice on that, Daby?
Plus 101.
Plus 101. Lex Steele, don't let the wind play any role in San Francisco. It doesn't matter. It opens up at 7.7, gets up to 11.5, and it swirls, and it's blowing out to the deep part of the ballpark. Don't let that get in the way. That's not meaningful. Let's hear what Jose has to say about this spot. Take it away, Jose. Braves Giants.
I'm off. I lean under because obviously the Braves are the best under team in baseball. They scored 13 runs yesterday. Just generally makes me want to lean towards an under the next day with them. Two good pitchers. We've gone from 7.5 to 7. Kind of all the recipe for it. But I'm staying off this game. 95% of the bets, by the way, 92% of the money on the over, and went from a 7.5 juice to the under at minus 125. So you can indeed tell me that's a 7, and I believe you. Minus 117 to the over now. So just not that much or not enough ultimately at the end of the day to get me to back the under here. And I do think that though the Giants let me double check here. They had good numbers against lefties throughout the whole year. I said those numbers were going to plummet, especially because they traded Soler. And now from the 30th to the 15th, they are 22nd, 95 weighted runs created plus against lefties. So I just don't think it's a good matchup for them either. So I lean under, but I'm going to stay off this game.
I want to too. So just talking about a game with the total like this, right? And taking a team total over. Now I want the Braves to score 4 runs off of Webb and call it a day. I want this to be the 9th game this year. Webb's given up 4 runs in a start. But let's say it's not that. And let's say it's 2-2 in the 8th or 3-3 in the 9th. Then you go into extra innings, and in a 2-2 ball game, going into extra innings, putting that guy on second base to start it. I mean, it's just the low total actually makes me more comfortable with the team total over, as weird as that sounds.
I mean, all that matters is cashing. So I get it. I'm comfortable not being on this. But then I did watch Robbie Ray self-destruct yesterday. Cabby on the Braves team total over 3.5 at plus 101. Did you get a chance to see the artwork that was made for your new show?
Jose sent it to me. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. I like it. And I gotta just say, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. It won't just be me. I've reached out to several badass college football cappers that are going to be joining me. This thing's going to be no joke. We're going to attack this very serious on Sundays. Come in there, maybe give out a few parlays, some player props, but a lot of bets from a lot of really good cappers. We're going to attack these Saturday cards head on, baby. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then there'll be a 5 or 10, 15-minute break, probably end around 11:30 before the live stream, which kicks off at 11:45 Eastern for the biggest 12 game. We're looking forward to
wait to start drinking until 11:45 at least. I'll try.
Wow, thank you for your service.
I won't have a joint on the first show, but I will wait to start drinking until then. I got you.
Thank you for your service.
I love it. I'm looking forward to be a part of it and to watch it blossom. So congratulations on the new show, Daby Cab. Best bet for Daby Cab Braves team total over 3.5 at plus 101. Daby Cab, we will see you here again tomorrow, and looking very much forward to it. Also, the first Saturday football game, the Dublin, Ireland special, will be a live stream event here hosted by Daby Cab as well. We'll talk all about that. So my men, respect, and I will be in touch. Daby Cab, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Man, I can't wait. I'm just reading the chat. People coming in. Cam talking about last what was he saying? Last Saturday? I don't know, man. We had a lot of fun times last year. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna cash. So if you missed out, make sure and tune in because we don't fuck around on Saturdays. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I love you guys. Aubrey, Kong, Nunya, Odds Bunch, Nuke Worker. Thank you guys for coming in. Jimmy, Jose, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Respect. There he is. And Sharpie coming in after cashing yesterday with Montgomery, digging in, almost pulling the trigger on Giants for 7, but he is on the Tigers team total under 3.5, which is not music to Jose and I's ears. Let me get that up here, ready to go. Jose, I think I would like to move on that first 5 under 4 in Milwaukee. I would like to do that. So why don't you set us up here on the Red Sox Orioles spot? And the only thing I want to set up is Gerald Jones play today is on the over 8.5. Slow Jams Arsenal. Pork Chop Hill play today is on the over 8.5. And Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day dog. Spreadsheet dog play of the day is on these Boston Red Sox. Shout out to our guy, Ron Crawford. So Jose, take it away. I'm gonna bet this.
Yeah, so it was an interesting day yesterday to be a Red Sox fan. I fucking bet the Rangers Red Sox game, horribly game yesterday. It was so frustrating to bet a first 5 team total over against the worst bullpen in baseball. I should have taken full game, obviously. It's amazing they score 9 runs and I lose my team total bet. So frustrating there. On top of that, Red Sox blow that game late with a bullpen collapse. The giant move towards the Rangers. Somehow the books know, but it's this interesting. The Red Sox win that series and they come into this Baltimore series with, bad vibes. I'll tell you that. So let's talk about the market first, and then we'll talk about Pivetta coming off the IL. I thought this line was pretty short, honestly. I definitely thought this would be a higher line. So we had a minus 140 opener. Even got down to minus 130 at one point. Climbs up to minus 144 at BetOnline. That has 75% of the bets and 95% of the money on the Baltimore Orioles here. So my stink radar was definitely up. And the total, like everyone said, 8.5 here, felt light. Nick Pivetta definitely can throw some BP to a really good Orioles lineup. It's concerning. The Red Sox also have not had good, series against the Orioles because they've just gotten waxed, it seems, every time they've played. Their pitchers are just not good enough here. However, we'll talk about Pivetta's last few outings against the Orioles. Last year, 7 innings, 2 hits, shutty, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. That was in 23 and 22 were his last 2 there. So he has success against them. And it's interesting. This total started at 8.5, minus 110 each way. It is now minus 115 to the under. So I think it's becoming one of those come and bet this over. I don't know, but it's kind of tough to say that when there's 97% of the bets and 92% of the money on overs. And by the way, all the games are bet to the over here today as well. The lowest percentage, 86 and 78. So just a lot of over love today. It's very interesting. I don't know. It's a tough spot for me. Let's talk about Eflin here, who we had a big whole thing about him last time out, facing his former squad in Tampa Bay. Shoves it up their ass. 7 inning, 4 hits, no earned run, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 10 hits, 3 earned runs. Those last 2 against Cleveland and Toronto. So he's been solid, and this is now his 4th start again, or with the Orioles here, his 2nd home start. His first start was the home start, or first home start was the Toronto start. 6 innings, 10 hits, 3 earned runs there. Yeah, Ron, I think you are smelling kind of what I'm smelling here. I think the Red Sox are live, and I don't want to sound like a homer piece of shit here, but I do want to move on the Red Sox. Now, the most obvious thing that needs to be said in this breakdown is that the Red Sox bullpen has been horrible, just downright awful in the second half of the season. They've got like an 8 ERA. It's pathetic. And it doesn't even matter who's throwing. Everyone's been bad. Zach Kelly threw yesterday. He wasn't good. Winkowski shit down his pants. Lucas Sims been bad. Luis Garcia has been the worst reliever in baseball. It's just all been bad. So I've struggled. I've went back and forth on this game, but I think I'm just going to end up being on the Red Sox, and I just have to swallow my pride and take the full game. I don't like taking first fives, as everyone knows, so I tend to avoid them. I understand I'm running the dice with this shitty bullpen. I completely understand. Trust me. But I think full game is the way to go with the Boston Red Sox here. By the way, for those wondering, first 5 line movement, minus 145 opener, got up to minus 150, down to 35, back up to 40. So not really, much of a difference, honestly, from full game to first 5. But I do have faith in the Red Sox here. I wouldn't honestly hate either side of the first 5 full game, but I just do think the Red Sox are the side here today.
I'm astonished by this total.
Yeah.
Just the Giants line and the total and the Orioles Red Sox were the first things that, I was interested in. Astonished that this would be an 8.5, and also 3 cents movement now to the under with all the money on the over. Look at the way Red Sox are hitting righties. Look at the way Orioles are hitting righties. Look at Red Sox bullpen and Orioles bullpen. Red Sox bullpen since July 15th, 6.91 ERA, 1.69 whip. Orioles 5.20, 1.31. The market is enough just to keep me off of this spot, but I completely understand what Gerald and Slow Jams are thinking. Yeah, I'm
gonna move on Red Sox officially full game money line, and I'm gonna move on the first 5 under in this game. So for the first 5 total movement, I'll tell you guys here was a 4.5 minus 116 to the over. Basically, has flipped to minus 115 to the under. All the money on the over. It's scary. I'm eliminating the bullpens, but I'm going to trust big game Nicky Pivetta here. First 5 under 4.5 here. Minus 115, like I said, to the under. And Red Sox full game money line is plus 134.
You are in a business. Truth Teller says 100% on the over. He doesn't care that it's moving to the under. The 3 cent move to the under isn't that big of a deal. But how could it be an 8.5? So I already had the... I already had a red flag up on this one. I'll cheer you guys on. Jose on the Red Sox are side under 4.5. Red Sox money line. Gerald Jones, Slow Jams on the over 8.5. Truth Teller on the over 8.5. Ron Crawford also on that spreadsheet for spreadsheet dog for the Boston Red Sox. Let's roll on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern with the Washington Nationals 55-66, 27-34 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies 70-50, 39-22 at home. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The last start for Zach Wheeler, he went up against Ryan Nelson. It was another spot where, it's sort of similar to the Giants today. But it didn't move as heavy, so maybe that's a bad example. But I guess it's similar to the Giants because I looked at Wheeler, the exact same way that I looked at Logan Webb last Friday. And the market moved pretty heavy, pretty dramatically against Wheeler towards Ryan Nelson, and Ryan Nelson was spectacular. Now we needed that Del Castillo home run. Imagine the depth at catcher that the Diamondbacks have. Del Castillo looks awesome.
Yeah, one of those guys is getting moved, but we'll see what happens.
They're going to get a lot for either of them. Mitchell Parker, the lefty, coming off a nice start at home versus the Angels, a perfect situation for him. He struggled on the road, 4.78 ERA. Now, he's only allowed 4 home runs in 52 2/3, but 257 opponents batting average. Zach Wheeler was strong in that start, just not as strong as Ryan Nelson. But at home, he's 7-3 with a 2.48 ERA, 87 strikeouts and 76 in the third. Allowed 7 home runs and 76 in the third with a 187 opponents batting average. The Phillies are raking against lefties, 304, 891 OPS. Nats versus righties, 252, 708. And both bullpens have been struggling. Let's set this up here for Jose. First off, the weather, 86 Fahrenheit, 7.7 miles per hour left to right. It stays left to right throughout the game. Opens up at 7.7, closes at 6.2 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This total is at 8.5. It opened up at 8.5. It spent a lot of time at 8. It was also at 8 for a few minutes, about 20 minutes into the show, about 55 minutes ago. Overall, we've had 2 cents of movement to the under, just 2 cents of movement to the under. And then we see the cash cow situation from our guy Troy. This opened up at minus 261, and it got up to minus 282 at 9 in the morning, at 9:30 in the morning. There was a 17-cent move at 9:29 against them. So right now, there's been a 1-cent move towards the Phillies. But I tell you, I was a little surprised at how big of a favorite they were on the opening line. 92% of tickets, 84% of cash on the Phillies, 86% of tickets, and 78% cash on the over. Take it away here for us. Troy Torrance says database heavy on unders. What are your thoughts here, Jose? Nats, Phillies?
Yeah, so obviously Troy's put a cash cow emoji in the chat here for those Phillies, which, you know, I don't love necessarily betting public spots, but the cash cow, we all know, has been very resourceful and cash full this year as well. So honestly, I was looking, Troy, and Troy will love to hear this, for the cow cat parlay, putting the Phillies and potentially the Tigers together to see what kind of price I get. But yeah, I just think the Phillies have the market behind them, and they're, you know, Mitchell Parker, again, has been a guy that I've backed throughout the whole year. But with all these young pitchers that I've backed, and you know, it got me in the ass yesterday with Robbie Ray. But once it's funny, as the season goes in, it's just like I'm looking for young pitchers that are good, the call ups, etc. And then as the season goes along and we start hitting, you know, August, late July, it's been where are the veteran pitchers that are fresh or have done this before that I can trust and back these guys late. Parker at 112 innings pitched right now. He threw 113 in in Double A last year, 123 total. But again, those innings are not going to be built the same. So I think fatigue will set in, and I think the Phillies get him here. I know the Phillies have been kind of off as well here, but you know, I'd rather the Phillies struggle now than in late October. So Phillies, but I want to look at and see what the Phillies money line and Tigers money line put together will get me.
That is interesting. Very, very. I guess I fear both bullpens. I guess I would want to focus on the first 5, but I fear what the Phillies do to lefties. I mean, maybe with the move towards the under, with Troy liking the under, maybe that first 5 under would be the spot at 4.5 minus 115, not too juiced, because he knows Wheeler will deliver. I can't wait to talk about it. Saturated, that spot. And Guillermo, no, they're still in discussions about this, about the 24th, the Saturday the 24th here. It's a really tough spot for me right now, the Saturday the 24th, but we're still discussing it. Levels play today. I wish I could just say yes to it, though. I need a day of horses with you guys so badly right now. Tone Miggins levels play days in Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases at plus 120 for 2.5 units, going big on Bryce. And Sosa homer at plus 450 for 0.245 units.
I got it for plus 200, by the way. Tigers, Phillies parlay together.
Interesting. Very interesting. And Millsy talking about how it would be Nipsey Hussle's 39th birthday. God, that was such a senseless, stupid fucking murder. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome race. But shout out to you, Millsy. And big shout out to what you guys are doing on the Locker Room podcast. Great show.
By the way, 24th also going to be the first Daby Cab stream, I believe. That's week 0, right?
That is, yeah.
That's week 0. So keep an eye out on that. Maybe we'll get some horses, thrown in there a little bit.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've got to take the family somewhere on Sunday morning, so it's a bit of a issue here. But yeah, what do you think of this first 5 under? I mean, can Mitchell Parker hold them down enough?
The line movement makes me feel like you can't. Is the scary part here. Let me go to the full game line movements and check this out. Obviously, guys, you guys know this, and I shouldn't say obviously, but 86% of the bets and 78% of the money on the over. This was the lowest one. It's funny that this went from an 8 minus 120 to the over. Bet online flashed an 8.5 for like 10 minutes, which I tend to believe is just bullshit. But they went 8.5 for 10 minutes and then put it to 8 minus 110 10 minutes later, and is now juiced to the over. I mean, I've liked the guy all year. Phillies against lefties as well, by the way, from the 30th to today, 7th, 132 weighted runs created plus. So I just don't know if he's in for a good outing today, all this considered.
And this isn't the Angels. I think that Wheeler probably shoves here.
Yeah.
So
no appearances, by the way, for Mitchell Parker against the Phillies
in his career.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess I have some interest in it, but I would need to be in the black coming into this game. So I would need to. So, I mean, the Phillies' first 5 minus 1.5 is even money, and it's tricky. Yeah, Ricky Bobby, we're on the Tigers, but hearing Sharpie expecting the Texan Bryce Miller to shove makes me very uncomfortable. And Mr. Tomatoes play today is the Dodgers as well. And Troy Torrance says divisional cash cows go under at an 80% clip. Okay, well, I guess let me just leave it at that. I'm really interested in that first 5 under. But, Mitchell Parker just shut down the Angels at home. This is a little different, and I'm not going to bet this after the show. I'm going to wait and see how I start out. And I would be interested to see if it got a little more juiced. All right. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board. Our final MLB game here on today's show. We have NFL next, then CFL, and then Brizzy joining us for WNBA. We have a spot where we are attacking across the board. First off, the stacks play of the day is on Marcus Semien over 1.5 bases at plus 138. Shout out to Justin McKelvey.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Coin Currency's play today is in. It's on the under 7.5 in the Brewers Dodgers game. That's going to be, the start of today is so important to me, man. I can't even bother getting into it. So we have the stacks play of the day. We also have Gambler's First Glance. Gambler's First Glance is on the under 8 at minus 105 here in Twinkies Rangers. And the Bookie Buster play of the day from DC Capper is on the Minnesota Twins. And Jake Burns saying, I like the Twins here. He doesn't understand all of the Rangers' love. Wager Detective says Twins could be going cold. Rangers bats coming to life. Let's roll here. Bailey Ober looks excellent right now. And it's his changeup that's just dynamite right now. He looks just... He didn't look very good at the beginning of the year. I couldn't understand why. Now he's absolutely rolling. That was a very impressive start at home versus the Guardians. He hasn't been as good on the road as he's been at home, but 4.13 ERA, 204 opponents batting average. And the Rangers, as much as Wager Detective says Rangers bats coming to life, their numbers against righties since July 15th are poor, 226, 669 OPS. And the Twins are not hitting lefties. They simply aren't hitting them. 209, 652 OPS. And Cody Bradford, they've been coddling Cody. That was his, he's throwing 30 innings in the majors this year. 23 have come at home. That last start, 5 innings at the Yankees, that was a sign that he was ready to go. 7 strikeouts, no walks. I just don't see the Twins getting to him. LJ from H-Town is on Seager over 1.5 bases. Let me copy and paste that here. Thank you for sharing that with us, LJ, my man. So I moved on the first 5 under 4 plus 105. I have taken a few juice totals in the last little while, and it's just not working for me. So I took the plus money spot. Let's set this one up here. First off, we know the roof will be closed, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's get into the line history for this one. So move over here. On the total, we have an 8, a minus 108. This opened up at 8.5. It moved to 8 at 6:15 this morning. On the money line, we are dealing with a minus 108 for the Twins. They opened up at minus 120. So there's been 11 cents of movement towards the Texas Rangers. I think that's another sign that Bradford will pitch well. I would like to see what the first 5 total is, if you don't mind, because obviously that's the one that I moved on. That first 5 now at plus 106, so that's nothing good happening there. And it did get back up to 4. It wasn't a real 4.5, though. So at 4, went back to 4 minus 119 at 8:42 a.m. I got it a little after that. So there's been another 1 cent move to the over 4 at that price. And we know that the public's all over the over. On the under is 3% of the tickets and 12% of the cash. 56% of tickets and 93% of the cash is on the Minnesota Twins. And this line moving away from the cash. Quite tricky. And yes, Truth Teller, it all depends on what you are focusing on. And I certainly don't care what the Twins did against lefties in April and May and June. I care what they've done in the last month. And that's a longer sample size than we hear a lot of the cappers using. But whatever works for you, take it to the bank. Jose Bouquet, take it away for us here, Twinkies Rangers.
Yep, I'm on the under with you. Full game. So shout out to Razor as well. Under 8 minus 115. You mentioned it. Both teams not hitting the side they're facing. Minnesota against lefties, 160 plate appearances, 76 weighted runs created plus since the 30th. Texas Rangers, 17th, 97 weighted runs created plus against righties. A little better, obviously, just below average. But Bailey Ober, I'm trusting here. Solid pitcher. I love gigantic pitchers, super tall pitchers. Changeup going to be a lot easier for him to throw as well, because I'm assuming he has big hands as well with those big body as his. So, yeah, I like the under here, minus 115 to wrap up my card. And it's going to be a fun one, especially because, this is kind of the money zone for us. All the money, 97% of the bets, 89% of the money on the over here. And we've dropped from 8.5 to 8. So let's ride.
You got it. You are locked in under 8 minus 115 for.
Was it double up in your head here, or just sticking the first 5?
No, these bullpens do nothing for me for trusting. So no, I'm going to stick with that. Now, it's not being that helpful focusing on first 5s in these situations. Bullpens have held on to things. Truth Teller says he doesn't have data for lefties. How long is that data for? The 262, 754 OPS. Truth Teller?
That would help very much, Truth Teller.
Yeah, it would be. That's very important. Jerry Davis says last 14 days, Rangers up to 114 weighted runs created. DC Capper on the Brewers plus 105. All right. Yeah, please let us know how long that is then, Truth Teller, because that's certainly not what they're doing in the last month.
That's funny. Yeah. By the way, if I just move my split one day, Jerry's right. I had mine from the 30th to today. If you move it from the just August, it is indeed 114 weighted runs created plus 8th best in the league.
And sorry, I read what Truth Teller said wrong. Truth Teller, he says he doesn't understand why it doesn't matter. there was a time years ago that I focused on year-long stats. Obviously, I'm not showing my record here right now, but my ROI changed dramatically when I stopped. But do what works for you. If you care about, what teams did against certain splits early in the season, and that brings you money, then focus on it. It doesn't for me. Okay. And it's easy. Truth teller, go to like Fangraphs, or there's so many sites that can help you with that. So lots of opportunities. And look at that. Andrew G says, breaking news, Bills fans, Matt Milano out, torn bicep. Oof.
Yeah, well, hate to see it.
Good.
Jets for the AFC East.
Good God, that's awful news for Bills fans. That's just horrific, Andrew. All right, let's review all action here in MLB before we get into NFL. Morgan Spooner, play of the day. Seattle Mariners, moneyline -135. Dodgers, moneyline -135. Mets, -1 at -140. We also got some nice information here. I thought I'd copied and pasted, but I don't see it with the best nerfies here from Lex Steele. The best nerfie for him, top nerfie of the day, is the Brewers. The next best one is the Rangers. Milano could return in December. Okay. That's important.
Interesting. Yeah, my local doesn't even have division odds for that division up now.
Wow. Mexican Elvis, ain't nothing but a hound dog. Play today is the Mets -1.5. Philly, Eagle, Flyer, parlayed Phillies run line and Eagles under. He's also tied after second inning on Tigers, Giants, and the Rangers. Tigers, Giants, and Rangers games. Crystal Craig running hot on the play of the day is Lindor over 1.5 bases at +100. Then we have Viper NB on the Mets -1.5. Daniel Hernandez, Danny Dog, play of the day is Oakland money line. Justin McKelvey on Athletics first 5 money line. Robert Franklin on the Mets -1.5, and Professor Chris is on the A's money line. Truth Teller is on the Mets -1.5. Strategic Investments play of the day is on the Mets money line, and the Big Negroni play of the day is New York Mets first 5 money line and full game money line. Jose and I are on the Tigers. We're both on them full game. Jose's also on the Tigers first 5, but Sharpie came in saying that he is on the Tigers team total under 3.5 at -106. Makes me nervous. I did bet the first 5 under 4 at -105 in the Brewers Dodgers game. Your grandma wearing your sister's pants again. Play days Milwaukee in the under 8 at +265. My dude's 5th play of the day is Flaherty over 4.5 hits. I don't know why I don't have your first 4, my dude. That's my apologies. Daby Cab's best bet's the Braves team total over 3.5. BJ's best bet is on the Giants and the Rangers. Wine Times play days Minnesota Texas under 8. Also on the Giants money line. Enjoy your dinner, my man, and safe travels back to America. What a trip you've been on. Then next up for us is Jose on the first 5 under 4.5 in Red Sox Orioles. He's also on the Red Sox money line +134. Gerald Jones and Slow Gems on the over 8.5. Ron Crawford spreadsheet dog is Boston. I'd like this first 5 under 4.5 in Washington, Philadelphia, but I need to get off to a good start today. I have to, and I won't add it unless I do. Tomiga's level play today is Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases at +120 for 2.5 units. He's also on Sosa home run at +450 for 0.45 units, and the Phillies team total over 4.5 for 1 unit. Coin currency play today Milwaukee under 7.5 -105. Jose is on the under 8 at -115 in the Twins Rangers. I'm on the first 5 under 4 at +105. Kuji Cam, thanks for rocking with us, my man. LJ from H-Town on Seager over 1.5 bases. Razor Sharp picks. Gambler's first glance is Twins Texas under 8. And Justin McKelvey stacks play today. Simeon over 1.5 bases. And the Bookie Buster play today from DC Cappers on the Twinkies. That is our MLB for today. Jermaine Conley on the Dodgers -2.5 says they get right back at it. And Stimmy OG is on the under 8.5 in Mets A's. And where is the Nunya business play of the day? I missed it. It says it's at +107.
Yeah, let us know, Nunya.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have that copied and pasted. I would have liked to have done that. A true teller on the Mets -1.5, Boston over 8.5, and the Twins money line. None. Oh, the Braves. Okay, so none is on the Braves. Okay, that's all locked in. Jose, any final words on the MLB card before we move on to NFL?
No, it's going to be a hell of a day here. I cannot wait. It's going to be stressful for both of us, I'm sure, but we need it. And there's no more dangerous capper than a capper with his back against the wall, needing to make money to feed his family. So, God damn it, watch out, because we're on the prowl. And today's going to be a good day, Jimmy. I can feel it. I can feel it in my loins. I cannot wait.
I hope so. God, I hope so. Jose, why don't you come back for us? Let us know, when are you going to deliver saturated best bet and Sharon best bet birthday bets?
I can do it right now.
Let's
do it right now. If they have to be different,
no.
Saturate. Oh, they don't have to be different?
I don't think so. I know you don't need to force a different unless you want.
Well, I've got two I like. I'll give you the under. That seems to be a good play. You know, obviously Razor Sharp's first glance is that as well. So whatever. I like the under 8 -115 in Minnesota, Philly. If you want an original joint saturated, Tigers money line +118, my best bet of the day for you.
And that is for saturated and Sharon. Yes,
Sharon.
Goran, talking about Judon to the Falcons. Wager Detective
Very
has Tigers money line for that one. And let's roll. Jermaine Conley says, I don't think my plays get tailed, but better pay a little attention. Respect, Jermaine.
Shout out to you, Jermaine. Don't worry, Jermaine. We saw your victory lap. It was acknowledged. Congratulations on your successes yesterday. Congratulations.
We always want to know what you're on, man. Air
Yes.
Dog just bet Devers over 1.5 total base +130 and a home run at +400. All right, let's get into NFL. Truth Teller says, I hate NFL preseason. I always have. It's a pain. It just takes longer. For the last 2 years, I've only focused on the weekday preseason games because it takes a long, long time. I capped this NFL game on Tuesday. While I was capping it, they were holding a joint practice, and the Eagles destroyed the Patriots. And there's been a huge market move towards the Patriots, and I don't fully understand it, and I don't get it. There's clearly a bias and an overreaction to what the Patriots and Drake May did in week 1 against the lowly Panthers compared to how supposedly lousy Pickett and McKee looked against the Ravens. Who's a tougher team to play, the Panthers or the Ravens? I moved on the under 36. I'm very interested in steam in the preseason. I've had lots of people tell me if you just follow the steam, you'll have a positive ROI. I was very interested in the steam towards the New England Patriots, and it's huge, huge, heavy steam. It's Nuke's birthday too? Wow. Really? It's Nuke's birthday too? The Nuke worker? Okay, I got to write that down. Happy birthday, Nukey, baby. Nuke worker. God, 3 great friends celebrating their birthday. I love it. Okay, so let's get into this here. Philadelphia Eagles, New England Patriots, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, 70 Fahrenheit showers, 3-mile-per-hour winds. So, very happy birthday, Nuke, my man. Respect and love. Look at that. Sharon, saturated Nuke. 3 great friends celebrating their birthdays. There's no wind, so a lot of people think that there's more offense when there's some rain but no wind because the DBs can slip. The wide receivers know where they're going. The DBs don't. You can talk all about that. But I'm on the under 36. I thought that was the most appealing spot. Again, we talk about following steam. This went against the steam. The steam was moving towards the over, except it did hit a high point, and that was probably Tuesday morning. But let's go over the line history right now and the cash flow. We'll use Pinnacle line moves. New England is about to be at 3.5 here any minute. Oh, they were at 3.5. I didn't realize that they moved from 2.5 to 3.5 at the start of the show at Pinnacle. Now back to 3, but it's juiced to minus 118. So it's going to be a 3.5. We saw this big of a market move in the Patriots not quite. It was even bigger in the Patriots Panthers game, and the Patriots dominated. We left money on the table. Now we cashed the under in that game, but we left money on the table. So it looks like 3.5s will be back. There's a 3.5 at Will Hill right now. That's the only book. Did BetOnline also move it to 3.5 and then come back? Wow. BetOnline did it one further. BetOnline moved this all the way to 4. This was 4 at 11:13 a.m. and it's come back to 3. Wow. On the totals, it's dropping. 35.5 at Pinnacle. There's a 34.5 out there. This didn't move to 35.5 until 11:05 this morning. Let's see what book is hanging at 34.5. Heritage hanging the 34.5. And this was 36 for a Heritage at 9:30 this morning. Now at 34.5. This opened at 34. The line's moving towards the over. Let's break this down here. So both teams come in off. Let's give you the cash flow before I go over the full analysis. Move over to NFL cash flow for you guys. We have 50% of the tickets, 78% of the cash on the Eagles, and this line moving towards the Patriots. On the total, we have 49% of tickets and 57% of cash on the under. So let's roll here. Both teams coming off wins in preseason week 1. The Eagles won 16-13 at Baltimore on the last-second field goal by Jake Elliott. He had just missed one. And Emory Jones got strip sacked, and we got another chance at it. The game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Eagles outgained the Ravens 259-164. Kenny Pickett did not look good in his first appearance in the Eagles uniform. 14-22 for 89 yards, 1 touchdown before giving away to Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee had the reins, 9:47 of the third quarter, and McKee looked worse than Pickett. There was a thought that maybe these guys were battling for the backup role, but McKee looked bad. 6 of 16 for 39 yards. Last year, McKee looked quite a bit stronger in that Eagles' first preseason game. It was also against the Ravens. He went 10 of 20, but for 148 yards. Jalen Hurts has not played in a preseason game since 2022, so we don't expect to see him here. They have a 4th-stringer in Will Grier, but we didn't see him in week 1, which would make me surprised to see him here, maybe late in the game. Philadelphia's offense was horrible against the Ravens. They averaged 3.4 yards per pass attempt. And so there's just an expectation by the books or by the gambling public that there will be this bad again. Drake May battling for QB1, Joe Milton backing him up. We broke down, their histories in last week's show. But there's this belief by the betting public that they're going to deliver more than Pickett and McKee. And I find it difficult to get there. I could be sitting here, with a Patriots -2 ticket in my pocket, and I didn't want to. I really think the public's getting carried away with what they saw last week, or getting carried away with this idea that the Eagles aren't going to play any starters, or that Drake May is got so much to prove and that he's going to deliver. I talked about the joint practice on Tuesday. Now, Jalen Carter and Bryce Huff, the newly signed Bryce Huff, dominated. So Greg Bedard, he's a reporter for the Boston Sports Journal. This is his numbers. He said the Patriots offense, the Eagles had 14 sacks and 2 interceptions. Patriots offense had a 57% completion rate during the regular period of practice. Now, we're not going to see defensive starters tonight, and I don't want to get too caught up in that. We know the Eagles are going to be a much better team than the Patriots this year. So is it any surprise that in a joint practice, the Eagles pushed the Patriots around? The Patriots offensive line was weak last year. They had injuries coming into the season, and they have injuries again coming into the year. Drake May, in this joint practice on Tuesday, was sacked 5 times on his last 6 dropbacks. Now, from a gambling perspective, I kind of wish this didn't happen. I know that the Eagles weren't going to play their starters here, but this is what I was thinking would even happen with the backups in play here today. Let's talk about what went down with the Eagles last week and what we can expect this week offensively. Of course, Saquon Barkley, who had a couple big plays in that joint practice, he won't be playing. We don't expect to see him here. So Kendall Milton, he ran 9 times last week for 39 yards. Tyron Davis-Price ran 6 times for 34 yards. Kenneth Gainwell ran 4 times for 23 yards. Will Shipley ran 7 times for 23 yards. This is a lot of depth here, a ton of depth at running back. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown are not expected to see the field either. John Ross is trying to force his way as for playing time. He led receivers 3 catches for 28 yards. So that was the Eagles. Gerard Mayo's first game as coach of the Patriots was a success, 17-3 victory at home over the Panthers. The Patriots look like they will continue to have a really good defense and no offense to speak of. Now, this defense won't have Matthew Judon, who was traded to the Falcons for a 3rd-round pick. The expected season opening starter, Jacoby Brissett, he started things off with a very uneventful 4-play, 11-yard drive that saw him go 0 for 3 for 0 yards. We expect to see more of him here. Then we have that second drive was Drake May, and that was his only drive. 3rd overall pick, Drake May. 13-yard short pass to Antonio Gibson on 3rd and 12. He finished 2 for 3 for 19 yards. We saw him in one series, and he looked pretty good, and Pickett and McKee looked awful. And so we know that the Patriots are going to play a lot more Drake May. Gerard Mayo said that it was going to be the situation here, and the line moves towards him. Zappe comes in on the 3rd drive, and he played until there was 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. 12 of 20 for 108 yards. He didn't look very good. From that point, Joe Milton came in to finish the game, and Milton looked good. 4 of 6 for 54 yards. He threw the game's lone touchdown pass. He also ran 5 times for 22 yards. Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson saw time in week 1. We talked about the May to Gibson 13-yard pass play on a 3rd and 12. Terrell Jennings led rushers with 6 carries for 38 yards. Kevin Harris, who we'll see a lot of tonight, ran 8 times for 22 yards and touchdown. And Keyshawn Butte made 3 catches for 53 yards. Of course, a lot of us gamblers will think about Butte with the illegal sports betting while he played at LSU. He had an alias account that was believed to be used by him for 8,900 wagers, with 17 involving bets on NCAA football games, 6 involving LSU, and we knew he was going to fight for a roster spot. The Patriots did draft 2 receivers. They got Washington's Jalen Polk, who we'll see a lot of tonight, and Central Florida's Javon Baker in the 4th round. Butte set that SEC single game record with 308 receiving yards as a freshman against Ole Miss in 2020. And very, very good lawyers. The charges have been dismissed. 8,900 bets bet on. We don't know. I don't have the information if it was on or against his team, but very, very good lawyers. So I was surprised to see Antonio Gibson in week 1. We're probably going to see some of them here. Austin Hooper, KJ Osborne, New England's brought in, but we don't expect to see them on the field. And this offensive line's already dealing with injuries. A wager detective says smart money on the Pats. Look, I can't. Clearly, the books are moving the line heavily in the Patriots' direction. Clearly, the Eagles are a much better football team that dominated them in the joint practice, and they have no reason to play starters here, at Foxborough. So I don't want to chase the steam here. I think that these Eagles who are fighting for spots can keep this game close. I do think that the slap in the face that the Patriots received from the Eagles in the joint practice is going to help them in the game. And the books wouldn't be moving it through that key number of 3 if they didn't really believe the Patriots were going to take care of business. So the Patriots we know the Patriots are going to play more of their starters, so they probably win this game. They probably win it by more than a field goal, whatever. I'm not going to bet it. But what I will bet is the under 36 at minus 110. I do not believe that Drake May will have a ton of success here. Who cares what he did against the Panthers? Zappe couldn't do anything against the Panthers. Why would he be able to do anything against the Eagles' backups? And don't forget, the Eagles had the 31st pass defense last year. So if there's one thing we know that Sirianni's working on is pass defense. And they completely, now the pass rush was a big part of it, dominated that portion of the practice. So when it's all said and done, I'm on the under 36 and minus 110. And I'm looking to go 5-0 in preseason. So there we go. There we go. Under 36 at minus 110 for me in Eagles, Patriots, and I will be watching. Let's roll on to the Canadian gridiron here. Roll into the Canadian gridiron. Gordon Koski, by the way, loving the Eagles as a dog. That market move against them is just too major here. We've heard Nuke Worker on the Stampeders at -3 at minus 115. Locked and loaded revenge game and saying payback is a bitch. And I can understand the whole thought process here. Truly, truly can. Jerry Davis saying Ottawa. Nuclear saying Stamps were -4 this morning and now moved back to -3 at minus 115. And I have the whole breakdown here, and I'll let you know my bet because I bet it a few days ago. I'm on the under 50 in this game, and I can explain why. And I want to fade Masoli so badly, but I simply am not going to. I simply do not want to have money. Now, if you gave me a free $500 bet, I put on the Stamps, sure, because I want to fade Masoli. But I cannot put money on a football team like the Stamps that lose Dedrick Mills, and you have this one-dimensional offense. I lost the under. It was my lone loss last week in Toronto, Calgary. I still could have got it, and I know it ended up being a 64 points were scored in that game. But there was a chance for the Stamps to deliver a long drive. But remember, it's 3-down football. Any second long situation, the Argos would go into a dime package. In first down, they had nickel package. They always had an enormous amount of defensive backs because they knew that the Stamps had a one-dimensional offense. And the pick six in that football game changed the entire game. And I'm just not. Look, I was backing the Stamps a lot. You guys know I was on the Red Blacks when these two teams met, but that was just because the Stamps were on a short week. So I'll break down this one here. Red Blacks 5-2-1, 1-2-0 on the road. Stampeders 4-5, but 4-0 at home. We're at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Alberta. 74 Fahrenheit, isolated thunderstorms, 10-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We'll see a big move towards the Stampeders. So we have the Stampeders -3 at minus 112. They opened up. Now, this came out late. You could have got the Stampeders -1.5, -1. But then this moved pretty quickly towards the Stamps. Pinnacle doesn't come out till Tuesday morning. The other books come out, late Sunday night to Monday morning. Pinnacle waits that 24 hours to figure out exactly what they're going to do. They claim they don't kick winners out, but we know they do limit them. This opened up at -3 at minus 107 at 8:34 a.m. By noon, this was 3.5. Yes, last night at 7:18 p.m., this was 4.5. So at that point, there would be a 1.5 move at Pinnacle, a 3-point move at other books. Then this morning, a 4. Then at 11:45, a 3. Here we have Cappers moving on. Ron Crawford, I will take a look at that. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Here we have Cappers who like Ottawa. And I think if you were on Ottawa, that 1-point move towards them would probably give you some confidence. These teams met back in week 8 on July 26th in Ottawa. It was a pick'em. You guys remember we broke it down here on the show. The Stampeders were dealing with short rest and travel, and they got destroyed 33-6. Everything went wrong for the Stamps in that one. And they were missing both their starting tackles, who are both back. Left tackle, Dante Demery. Right tackle, Joshua Coker. They're both back for this one. But a lot has changed since then, and both teams are worse. The Red Blacks lose starting quarterback Drew Brown. They finally had some consistency at quarterback. And then they made this somewhat, it was a surprising announcement to me that it would be Jeremiah Masoli at quarterback and that we wouldn't see Dustin Crum. Now, let's talk about Masoli. Now, I think Dustin Crum will be a quarterback late in this game. I think Masoli will see his shortcomings. 35 years old. He turns 36 on the 24th, the running of the Traverse Stakes. And look, he ACL and Achilles injuries, didn't play at all. I didn't start in 2023. He's played 5 games over the last 2 years, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The thought, no, they've been back. It's just they didn't have them in week 8 compared to week 11. And Wager Detective says take the points under 36. No, I love it. I'm just going to take the under 36, but I'm with you, Wager Detective, in that one. New Cooker says Ottawa hasn't played a road game in a month and Calgary undefeated at home. Important points, and we will touch on both of them. I told you that the issue for me, the most important thing in this football game is I want to fade Masoli. And then the second most important thing is I don't believe in the extreme differences of the Ottawa Red Blacks statistical makeup this year from road to home. I don't believe them. In week 3, Montreal was coming off a loss, and it was it down to it was almost down to a pick 'em. That was the spot where I got Montreal at minus 125, and within a couple of days they were minus 200. Montreal won 47-19. I think they were up 35-1 at the half. Look, Montreal was an angry group. They started their first 2 games on the road. They're the defending Grey Cup champions. They should have that first game to celebrate at home. They didn't get it. They were angry, and they wanted to send a message to the league, and they did that. Then Ottawa also had a really bad defensive showing in Edmonton. Again, these were in the first few weeks of the year, and Bob Dice has this defense playing at a very high quality. And I'm not saying this, New Quicker, to say that I believe the Red Blacks are in play here. I just don't. If you look at the Red Blacks defense allows 102.2 more yards per game on the road than they do at home. They allow 18.7 more points per game on the road than they do at home. I don't believe that. And when I watched the Stampeders offensively, even with Dedrick Mills, it was a very conservative game plan by Jake Mayer. Now, it can't be anymore because they have no run game. So 33 for 45 for 373 yards. That's what Jake Mayer did against Toronto when Toronto was set up in pass defense. So if you study what the Red Black stats are on the road, of course you'd be on the Stampeders. If you look at what the Red Blacks have done recently, they won 2 of their last 12 road games dating back to last year. You'd be on the Stampeders. I see a much, much better football team than last year. So I see a Red Blacks offense unable to move the ball with Masoli at quarterback. And that will change when Crum comes in because this Dickinson defense will be set up to defend a Masoli who's not mobile. He's about to turn 36, and then Crum could come in and he's very mobile. So that could easily happen in this one. Maybe the first half under is the better under, in all honesty. I don't think I move on that, but maybe it is. And then if the Stampeders have a lead, Jake Mayer will be a check down king. They'll run every kind of, they'll do whatever they can to not expose their lack of a running game with short passes. They'll bring a receiver around the end and hand him the ball. They don't have a suitable backup running back. So I'm on the under 50 at minus 110. And looking back at it now, thinking that Crum will come in, maybe the best move was the first half under. What is that first half under right now? 25. You know what? I'm gonna cover myself. I'm gonna bet that first half under as soon as this show's over. But I'm already on the full game under. I'm going to do that. All right. There you go. That is football here. Let me review action. Jose's power just went out, so we don't have him back there. Let me make sure that Brizzy is ready to rock with us for WNBA. So Brizzy, we are ready for you. Okay. We're going to roll into WNBA right now, but I'm going to add the first half under into my action. Maybe, the more I think about it, maybe even the first quarter under is the spot. But I'm going to add the first half under into my action. I do get very, very concerned when the team prepares for a quarterback like Masoli, who's not mobile, and then Dice knows that he can throw in Crum if Masoli doesn't fire and show a completely different side of things. So I do kind of worry about. I might have interest in the Red Blacks live if they're down, if Crum comes in. And then in NFL tonight, I'm on the under 36 at minus 110, looking to go 5. And let's move things over to WNBA here. While we have a few minutes for Brizzy to join us, don't forget the Cappers contest back in business. You can sign up right now. $100 for the Cappers contest, $100 for the Survivor pool. The rules are just like last year and the year before. The key thing is you have to have your picks in by 9 p.m. Eastern. Must have your picks in by 9 p.m. Eastern. While I'm here, I should probably put this up for your viewing pleasure. I should probably have that up for you guys as well. But let's get to business and start breaking down these WNBA spots. And hopefully Brizzy joins us here shortly. Here we go. We start. Let's move over here. At 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the Phoenix Mercury 13-12, 5-8 on the road at the Chicago Sky, 10-14, 4-8 at home. We're at Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Let's get into the line history here for this one and the cash flow. Saturated, you're probably right. Probably bulbous. Let's move into the line history here for this one. I know Brizzy's very excited about this WNBA card. Let's talk about game 1. We have Phoenix Mercury opening up minus 2.5, minus 107. Now they're minus 2.5 at plus 101. 8 cents of movement to the Chicago Sky, plus 2.5 at minus 115. Of course, Phoenix had 3 players at the Olympics. Chicago had 0. Now, 2 of them in Griner and Taurasi barely played, but we'll talk about whether or not there's any kind of issue with the Mercury being tired in this first game back in WNBA. This total opened up at 164.5. It is now 165.5. 164.5, now 165.5. So we have a 1-point move towards the over. Let's get into the cash flow for this one. We have, over here. All markets. We have no information on the spread. On the money line, 56% of tickets and 62% of the cash is on the Sky, and 81% of the tickets is on the under. So Griner and Taurasi barely played in the Olympics, but Copper did. Copper had a major role. And of course, Copper was traded by the Sky in the offseason to the Mercury. The Sky had no one at the Olympics. Kennedy Carter averaging 17.2 points per game. And AOD says 20 rebounds for Reese and says Copper being balling. Angel Reese averaging 13.5 points per game and 11.9 rebounds per game. She has had 18 straight double-digit rebound games. Mally Mal played her under 22.5 points for minus 130. Mally Mal says Carter sprained her ankle last Wednesday, but is a game time decision. AOD says Brizzy, the silent assassin. Brizzy will be here any minute. He's backstage. So that is the first game, Mercury Sky, and we'll hear Brizzy's analysis. In game 2, we got Brizzy ready to go. In game 2, though, Mystics versus Lynx. We have Justin McKelvey with a Stacks play today. Stacks play today, number 2. So I'll let you guys know that now. Stacks play today, number 2 is the Mystics +8. That is the Stacks play today +2, Mystics +8. Let's give a shout out to our guy, Justin.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
That is Mystics +8. Why don't I set up that game as well here? Actually, we'll get Brizzy up here now for our breakdown. So Mercury Sky, the key in this one is that 3 players are coming back from France for the Olympics. And then the other key is Kennedy Carter, averaging 17.2 points per game, but dealing with a sprained ankle. Mally Mal says, what was the first Stacks play of the day? The first Stacks play of the day was Marcus Semien over 1.5 bases at +138. Please welcome from South Jersey, star of the Locker Room podcast here on our channel, and of course, all things basketball. Please welcome Billy Brisbane to the show. Brizzy, how are you, my man?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've never been more excited to see women's basketball on a betting slate. Thursday, we need it. I got two plays on my day today, and one WNBA and one NFL, and I think we're on the same play. I like the under in the Eagles and Patriots game. We have one of the most conservative play calling in the preseasons with Sirianni. We're like 7-1 to the unders. We ran 70% of run plays last week. The Patriots starting quarterback, Bailey Zappi, should probably get most of the snaps. Yeah, Milton looked good, but if anybody's ever watched college football for a long period of time, there's the good Milton and then the bad Milton. We haven't seen the bad Milton yet. And when he plays bad, he plays fucking bad. He was a 7th-round draft pick for a reason. Like, he is not good at the game of football. But we've seen the good side of him so far, so I like the under a lot.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm with the under as well. I think that, well, we'll see how much Drake plays, but Gerard says that Drake's going to play a lot more than that one series. If it's a lot of Zappy.
How much is he really going to play, though? I mean, he only played 9% of the quarterback snaps for the Patriots last time. Bailey Zappi played about 60% of the snaps. When they look at the preseason stuff, like in the training camp battle thing or whatever, the quarterbacks that don't practice usually play a lot in the preseason, and Bailey Zappi didn't get a lot of reps throughout the practices, so I think he's going to play a lot in the preseason.
That's interesting angle. I know. So yes, he had one series in week 1. I would expect Drake May to play the first quarter or a full quarter of the football game, at least. But that's, you create your own game script, and then use it accordingly. But we're both come to the same conclusion, and that is the under. We got an interesting one here, Brizzy. Mercury Sky, Copper obviously was part of the Chicago Sky team, and we have 3 players coming back from France. Are they going to be tired? And what's going on with Kennedy Carter's ankle? Take it away for us, Brizzy. We've set this one up. A slight move towards the Sky, slight move towards the under. And when we get to the cash flow, we just know that 56% of tickets, 62% of cash is on the Sky. Is it too simple to say that Mercury Stars will be tired and the Sky is the play?
To be honest with you, I think some of the Olympic hangover narrative for the Mercury with the 3 Team USA participants and Rebecca Allen getting hurt in the Opals expedition games, I think some of that narrative is false narrative here on the front end of a back-to-back coming into a feisty Chicago territory. I mean, Chicago's been everybody's darling with Reese and Cardoza and Carter, but I'm not a fan of the trades that they made before the break, like at all. They lost a lot of offensive production, and Marina Mabry getting traded over to the Connecticut Sun, and they're going to replace it with the most inconsistent shooting ever. I mean, it just seems like a good move for the future, but not a good move when you're in the AC trying to make your first playoff push in a couple of years. And you're going to replace that with Michaela Ungunuarwe, that's been in everybody's cut waiver list, waiver wire for the last 4 years in the WNBA, and you've replaced that with Rachel Bannon. I just don't like it. I just don't like the spot for the Sky. These two teams play each other again on Sunday, and that seems like a little bit better of a spot for the Mercury. They're going to be catching the Sky on the second half of a back-to-back, so that kind of seems like more of the spot. But, man, it seems like the Phoenix is historically a spotty team on the road with a look-ahead spot with the Fever tomorrow night, and that seems like the spot is betting the Fever tomorrow night on the opener, bet the over on the Fever Mercury game. But for this game specifically, I feel like the Chicago Sky, everybody thinks they're ATS machines, but they're really not. They're 5-11 ATS underdogs, 1-4 last 5 at home, 7-17 last 24 at home. I think this is an overrated basketball team. Everybody sees Angel Reese and Camila Cardoza, and they want to get behind them. I like the Mercury here. I'm going to wait. The market keeps on coming in on all the dogs today, and this is the one favorite that I actually do like on the card.
Okay, but you haven't moved on yet. You're going to see if the line continues to move towards the Sky?
The line is definitely – all three dogs are going to be popular dogs today, the Sky being the most popular public underdog on the money line, and the Mystic being the most popular on the spread. But all the money's coming in on the Chicago Sky. Nobody wants to bet the Mercury. But I think some of that narrative is false narrative with the 3 Team USA participants. Diana Taurasi was there for a participation trophy. She didn't sub into any of those games damn near, besides like the first couple of games before they got into Paris. Brittany Griner was playing very limited minutes. They only played her like 10 to 15 minutes. For whatever reason, we won't get into that, but just basketball reasons, she didn't play a lot. Clea Copper was a DMP for half of the tournament, and then we just used her in the gold medal game randomly off the bench. So it's just like, how much are they really playing? Like, is there a time difference? Yeah, but like Natasha Cloud, Sophie Cunningham, they've been sitting at the crib making TikTok videos and been in the gym every day. Like, I get it. The Sky. Some people are concerned about Kennedy Carter's ankle from last week, but I'm throwing that out the window. She's out here doing backflips on her TikTok. She's just fine. If you're at a talent show last weekend and you're doing backflips and you're dancing to Boys and Men, I think you're about 100% fine. But I like the Mercury here in this one. I'm gonna have to fade the public.
All right, waiting on the Mercury is Billy Brisbane. We move on to the next spot on the board, Mystics Lynx. Heard from Justin McKelvey. He's on the Mystics +8 in this one. Mystics 6-19, 3-10 on the road. Lynx 17-8, 11-3 at home. We're at Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We'll start with the total. Total sitting at 157.5. Opened up at 155.5. A 2-point move to the over. And on the spread, we have the Mystics now as 9-point dogs. Opened up at 8 and went to 7.5. 7.5 till 3:34 a.m. when it moved to 8. 7:45 moves to 8.5. And 2 minutes ago, it moved from 8.5 to 9. Pinnacle is the first book here. That's not true. Bovada is
actually originally opened up at double digits when they first posted the WNBA lines a couple days ago, and all the money's been coming in on the Mystic with their injury news report.
Yes, and that's important point. If we use Bet Online as the opener, Bet Online put this out last Wednesday. So Bet Online put this out 8 days ago. Whereas
these lines for a minute.
Yeah, whereas Pinnacle put this out at 1:30 in the morning. So that's a really important point. Maybe it's Bet Online that we should be focusing on more. Bet Online opened this up at 10.5, of course, with limits. And then it didn't move.
Limits.
It didn't move for 4 days. And that was right around midnight. It moves to 10.
The line didn't move until like after the medal game, the gold medal.
Yeah, game. You're right. You're absolutely right. Then it went down to 8.5 on Tuesday, before it climbed back up to 9. But this was a 7. This dropped to 7 at Bet Online yesterday at 1:18 p.m. At 7:45 this morning, it was back at 9. So a lot of movement here in this one. If we want to talk about the total too, as it came out much, much earlier, this is at 158 right now. This was not available last Wednesday. This was not available for 8 days. This came out 4 days ago after the gold medal game, was at 156, and the first move was down to 155 and a half. Then when we get to the cash flow for this one, we have up here, we have 89% of tickets and 99%.
What did I tell you, bro?
Of the cash. Wow. On the Mystics on the spread. Wow. 67% of the tickets on the over. Mal says Lynx is healthy. Lynx definitely be vibing first half, though. Justin McKelvey says Mystics first half and full game. Jermaine Conley says if Minnesota got no injuries, it's easy 10+ Lynx. They cash cows. Red Girl, by the way, is on the full game under in the Sky game. Justin McKelvey saying Sky today, Mercury next. Justin McKelvey got the Mystics at 10.5. So Mystics lost 5 straight games before the break. Ariel Atkins leading the squad with 15.8 points per game. And Collier has carried Minnesota this year. 20 points, 10.2 boards. McBride, 16.4 points per game for these Lynx.
Honestly, it away. Anything with the Mystics prior to the break, you could just throw it out the window. With their returns from their injury report of Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, Carly Samuelson, it's basically like a whole entire new season for the Mystics roster-wise. It's going to be a completely different team than what we saw prior to the break. If this wasn't the first game back from the WNBA break, I would definitely bet the under here. I just don't know how to gauge the under on the card because we saw in the NBA, everyone usually bets unders after the All-Star break, and that shit was way over. They were smoking the totals by 20, 30 points, and there was a huge adjustment for it. So I'm kind of just want to stay off the totals a little bit here on the first couple days back in the WNBA, but the trends are heavily leaning towards the under here. The under's hitting 7 in the last 8 games for the for the Minnesota Lynx before the break. Defensively, the Lynx are second best in the WNBA. The Mystics are finally healthy after the break. If you look at the international duties, Cheryl Reeve was the coach for Team USA for the Olympics, just the Lynx coach. Collier is making a return back into the WNBA. She missed all those games right before the break, and she'll be back for this one. Bridget Carlton, she competed for Canada, and Elena Smith was in that medal game for the Opals on Sunday. So there's a lot of international duties from the head coach down to the fucking players that everybody was kind of just coming back. So it kind of makes me a little bit worried back in the Lynx here. The Mystics, they usually get off the hot starts for the season. They're 17-6-2 first half ATS and 9-3-1 first half ATS as a road underdog. And for the season, the Lynx are 13-12-1 first half ATS and 3-7-1 first half ATS as home favorites. So situationally, this says that the Mystics start off the game hot. They're probably up at halftime by 2 to 4 points and probably blow away the lead in the second half. That's how I kind of see the game playing out, and I don't know where to kind of get in because a lot of the public money is probably going to come in on the Mystics first half because, how do you not bet the first half? 9-3-1 first half ATS is a road underdog, 17-6-2 first half ATS. We just gave you just situational breakdown for the Minnesota Lynx about how half of their team is on international duties down to the head coach. So I think it's going to be a slow start for the Lynx. I like the Mystics, and I like the under. I haven't made any moves on it because it's one of those, it's like you ever make bets the day before a card or something like that, and you just love the 2 bets that you have. And every time you add on an extra bet or 2, it's just it was a lean that turned into a bet, and then it ends up either pushing, losing, or you end up going 1-1 on the plays that you cut off your card. So I really like the under in this one. My stats and numbers tell me that the under should hit, but I just didn't move on it. It's enough things on the other side that I can probably just chill out. If the Mystics cover this line, I think their team total probably goes over.
Liking the under, but if they cover, the team total goes over because they're big dogs.
No move could go over and the game go under still. I feel like we've seen that happen all last week.
no move for Brizzy at this point in this game. By the way, those of you watching MLB, these games could be blown open here right now.
Yeah, I really like the under. 7 out of the last 8 before the break for the Lynx have gone under. All their international stuff that they just had going on. The Mystics are going to get back Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, and Carly Samuelson, probably their 3 best offensive production. The Mystic usually start off hot. Lynx usually start off slow. And the Mystics usually blow away games in the second half, and the Lynx usually dominate in the second half. So it's like, man, it's shouts to anybody that's betting the Mystics full game plus 8.5. They got a lot more balls than I do in my bank account. I'm gonna have to pass. If I'm on the Mystic, I'm taking them first half team total over and first half spread 4.5. But I just can't be. I don't want to. I've made this mistake before in years past of like coming back from breaks and just slamming the card like it's a normal Thursday afternoon, and it's just that's not what it is at all. And maybe that's the reason why the total hasn't really gone the direction that I thought it would go. I thought this total was going to close around like 152, 150. I have this as like a 147.5 total. I think both of their meetings earlier this year have gone under. So it's just like, man, but different situation, different scenario. Anything that you have on the Washington Mystics prior to the break, you could throw that shit out the window. It's a completely different basketball team. They only have one person that was involved in the international break, and that was Julie Van Loo, and that's their backup point guard.
Well, let's roll on to the next spot on the board. By the way, both road teams had the bases juiced with 2 out. The Mariners have got 1 in. The Mets got out of it. So the A's did not score. It's 1-0 Mariners right now on the top of the first. Base is still juiced with an 0-2 count. And looks like there might be more coming in. No, that's done. So 1-0 Mariners after the top of the first. 0-0 Oakland, New York Mets. Let's roll on to this next spot on the board and the final spot on today's show. Brizzy, thank you for joining us. Of course, Brizzy, the star of the Locker Room podcast here on Pub Sports Radio and all things basketball. New York Liberty, 21-4, 9-3 on the road at the Los Angeles Sparks, 6-18, 4-8 at home at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Let's get into the line history for this one. This total right now at BetOnline, 163.5. This opened up at 168.5 on Sunday. 168.5. So it's dropped 5 points down to, it just went up. Sorry, 8 minutes ago, it went to 164.5. So 8 minutes ago, we had our first buyback.
I really don't get the total move in this game at all.
Well, there are other cappers who thought that was too far. On the spread, we are sitting here with the Liberty's 11.5 point favorites. That's where they opened. This got up to 12.5, got down to 10.5, but it's right where it opened. We've had 4 cents of movement towards the Sparks. Take a look at the cash flow then for this one. We have on the spread, 70% of the tickets on the Sparks. We don't have cash flow. And then on the spread, on the total, we have 57% of tickets, 67% cash on the under. Liberty won 4 straight before the break. They're very impressive offensive team, highest offensive rating in the league, hitting 10.3 threes a game. That's the highest in the league. Ionescu, 19.8 points, 6.1 assists. Then the Sparks went through an ugly 8-game losing streak before winning 2 of their last 5 games before the break. Hamby leading the charge, 19.2 and 10. Azura Stevens, 14.8 and 8.8. Cameron Brink, sadly gone for the year. Lexi Brown out indefinitely. And now Stephanie Talbot is out with a right foot injury. Take it away for us here, Brizzy, Liberty Sparks.
Yeah, save the best for last, depending on what side you're on. There are some things to take away positively from the Sparks heading into the break with Azura Stevens coming back. She's been taking a step up offensively in her last game before the break. For example, she had 24 points and 15 rebounds versus Seattle. Really good front court in themselves. Hamby's been a big name in the news with her lawsuit on Becky Hammon, with the different news leaking last week. Man, I mean, this is probably one of the craziest stories in WNBA history. Becky Hammon is damn near getting like people on like social media saying that she should resign for the way that she handled the De'Erica Hamby pregnancy situation when she was on the Aces, and she just got randomly cut. And now she's one of the best centers in the WNBA a year later. So weird situation, but this is the definition of a lazy spot. This is the Olympic fade. East Coast team traveling to LA without their defensive spark plug and Benaj Laney Hamilton, who's out for the Liberty in this one. While we've seen their two stars play big roles for the international squad. You had Stewart and Escu, they both play for Team USA. Phoebich was their starting small forward tonight. She was in the Olympic Games. Salabi's little sister, she was involved in the Olympic Games for Germany, and their head coach was the head coach for the Team Australia, for the Opals. They have a 24-4 record leading the Eastern Conference with nobody contending for the number one seed. I just don't see, like, where's the motivation? We've seen this spot before with the Liberty. They're 2-11 ATS this year as double-digit favorites. Before the break, teams that were in this spot, double-digit favorites in the WNBA, are 9-23 ATS. Give me the Sparks here, plus the 11.5. I bet it last night at minus 120. Best spot of the card. I think they can win this game outright. We had the spot similar a couple weeks ago when the Sparks played at home against the Aces, and they were like plus 13.5. They ended up winning outright in overtime. I like the Sparks here a lot. Best bet of the card for me today.
Best bet of the card for Brizzy, Sparks plus 11.5. He's waiting on the Mercury. He likes the under in the Mystics Lynx game, but not moving there. Stacks play day number 2 is the Mystics plus 8. Wager Detective says making South Jersey proud. Brizzy, tell us a little bit about the Locker Room podcast for this week, 2 days before fight night.
Yeah, we're going down to the land down under, UFC Vegas 305, Perth, Australia. We get that popping off this weekend on Saturday. Dana White Contender Series on Tuesday. Should be a good weekend of fights. And we got the WNBA back today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. So I'm happy to get started off here, man. Give me the De'Erica Hamby revenge game. I mean, fuck, dude. You can't fucking sue the best team in the WNBA and then just show up the next Monday to work and just not show up and play. National televised TV game. No, this is not on Amazon Prime. No, this is not on ESPN3. No, this is on ESPN. And everybody's going to have their little parlays set up at the end of the night, no matter what sport you bet on, with the New York Liberty as a money line, as a minus 700. And they're going to lose outright, and you're going to be pissed, and you're going to be thinking, damn, what was that black kid that was on Jimmy's show today that told me to bet the Sparks?
Respect, Brizzy. Sparks, best bet, plus 11.5. Brizzy, thank you so much for making time for us. I'd love to have you back tomorrow if you're able to. I love hearing your WNBA breakdown. So thank you so much for your time and hard work and angles and putting cash in everybody's pockets. So respect. Please follow Brizzy on X at getting_bills_. Brizzy, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, good luck on your action today. It's about to be a long weekend, and man, August 15th doesn't feel like August 15th. It feels like we're getting right back into the swing of fall. So that's why you're going to be here at Pub Sports Radio. Like, subscribe. Make sure you join, $5 a month. And today's national chant at the Moon Day.
Didn't know that.
That probably has something to involve with the Mercury in the sky. That was the note that I had. That's the reason why I was trying to figure out how is that quantifying the things, because Mercury is a planet that is considered a moon, the sky, the moon, the sky. I don't know, but that involves a couple of phone calls and see, like, if they have anything doing moon celebrations. I have no idea what that has to involve. Something in that game. I don't know what it is, but it has to be a big piece of puzzle of that game.
I love it. I love it, Brizzy. Chant at the Moon Day. Brizzy, much love, man. Thank you for rocking with us, my guy. We will see you tomorrow. That is our show for today. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We have birthdays today from the Nuke Worker, Saturate and Sean Pulliam. Happy birthday to you guys, man. Happy birthday. I've changed my thoughts on my best bet. I think it's actually the first half under in the CFL game. It's something I haven't even bet yet. But we talk it out. We sort of figure it out. I'm going to be betting that right now. And then I'm not going to add the first 5 under 4.5 in Washington, Philadelphia until I see how the morning goes. It's been a rough week, man. And hopefully football will change that around. Ron Crawford, WNBA play today is Mercury Moneyline at minus 135. As we talked about on these last two shows, Ron, we're right with you. We're right with you right now. Thinking about you and thinking about Molly and sending you guys so much love and healing energy. Really, really sending it out to you, my man. Thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you guys all in the chat. Andrew G says, Stamps will be my best bet tonight. I think Ottawa's in for a rude awakening, says Andrew G. Let's review all action and then put this one to bed. We have Morgan Spooner on the Mariners money line. They're up 1-0 after one inning. He has the Dodgers money line and the Mets -1. Ain't nothing but a hound dog play today. Mets -1.5. A lot of Mets love here, but there were a few cappers on the A's. And then Philly Eagle Flyer parlayed the Phillies run line and the Eagles under. And tied after second, of course, Philly Eagle Flyers thing to do, and he makes a lot of money off it, is second inning, tied after second, Tigers, Giants, and Rangers games. Crystal Craig, back-to-back cashes on her play today, is gone Francisco Lindor over 1.5 bases. I know that's on right now. We don't need to talk about those games that are on right now. Let's talk about games that are coming. I moved on the first 5 under 4 in Dodgers, Brewers, and Mikey Money. Your grandma's wearing your sister's panties again. Play today is Milwaukee in the under 8. My dude is on Flaherty over 4.5 hits at -165. Daby Cab's best bets, the Braves team total over 3.5. BJ's best bets are the Giants and the Texas Rangers. Wine Time Sports on Minnesota, Texas under 8. I'm on that first 5 under 4.5. I've already bet that. Sorry. I didn't. I took the 4 at +105. The 4.5 was too juiced, and those juice spots have just not been working for me. I think long term, take the plus money, and if it pushes, just move past it. Joey Marinaccio, Reese under 13.5 points is the Dapper Capper's best bet here. And Saturated says, don't tell Jose, but I don't trust this birthday parlay. Eagles, Pats under, Sparks +11, Seager over 1.5 bases, needs 2 legs. Looking for 2 legs for Saturated. I would take the first half under in the CFL game. For Jose, he's on the Red Sox first 5 under 4.5, the Red Sox money line. And Ron Crawford, spreadsheet dog play days, Red Sox money line. Both Gerald Jones and Slow Jams are on the over 8.5. Tone Miggins on Bryce Harper over 1.5 bases. That's a 2.5 unit bet for Tone. Sosa homer at +450 for 0.45 of a unit, and he's also on the Phillies team total over 4.5. Coin currency play days, Milwaukee under 7.5. In Minnesota, Texas, Jose's on the under 8. Gambler's first glance is on the under 8. Stacks play day number 1, Simeon over 1.5 bases. LJ from H-Town on Seager over 1.5 bases. I'm on the first 5 under 4 +105. Nunya's on the Braves +107. That's the Nunya business play today. Truth Teller on the Mets run line, Boston over 8.5, and the Twins money line. Saturated has put together his birthday parlay. Let's get it home for him. Air Dog, by the way, is on Devers over 1.5 bases and a homer. I'm on the under 36 in the NFL game, the under 50 in the CFL game, but I'm adding the first half under in that one as well. Red Blacks, Stampeders. And that is our show for today. Of course, though, Dapper Capper play day on Reese under 13.5 points. Stacks play number 2 on the Mystics. And Brizzy saying the best bet is Sparks +11.5. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. AEOD, Aubrey Travis, Nunya, Saturated, Justin McKelvey, Joey Marinaccio, Jermaine Connolly, Andrew G, The Truth Teller. Oh, do we race today? Of course we do. But Jose's power went out. So we will have to go for $100 tomorrow. We will have to go for $100 tomorrow. I can't put it together. I don't have it. So tomorrow, we race for $100. Tomorrow, we go for $100. Thank you for mentioning that, Truth. My bad. Of course we do. Wager Detective, Nunya, Justin McKelvey. Thank you, guys. Truly. Let's get that cash. Cole Stein in the house. A great, great group rocking with us today. Old E, thank you. Daryl Lyles. Reese over rebounds for Lyles. Mally Mal. Thank you guys so much. And to the birthdays, enjoy it. I will toast one to you guys this evening. And thank you guys for watching this show. Don't forget, we have our poker tournament in 8 days, capper contest, and the Survivor up and ready to be signed up for. We'll be talking about that throughout. Other than that, go out there and get that cash. All right? Especially me. Good God, do I need to step up today? Ooh. But truly understand that we have nothing without you guys. Kelly McInnes, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom. You have reframed the situation in a very positive way. And Nanya, I'm sorry about your uncle. Life can be tough, but thankfully we have the opportunity to cap together every day to bring that light into our life. Now let's go get that fucking money.
Pub Sports Radio's the crew, that's a fact. We all about bread, making bank accounts fat. Who the hell is that? LJ from the H, I stack green like Boston. Shout out to Nasty Nate from down south, where we ride on slab. 420 highway smoking with that boy Daby Cab. Swing by Dallas with them Cowboy fans so we can smoke out J Money, cause you know that's our mans. Us against the bookies, put money in our pockets. Fly out to Vegas, meet up with Ski Profit. Hit the sports books, we got money to stack. Can't forget them college picks with that boy Conor Mack.